protect people who are children who are being groomed.
You couldn't fucking protect anybody. Everything you touch, come on, dude, get out of here with that.
Are you upset? Have I touched on a raw nerve?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
Jay, you can just go Mormon next round. Well, I could just be Christian and an atheist because, apparently, this mental state that you guys have isn't, you guys think it's exclusive to you, but it's you're actually making fun of the atheists that believe in God, too. I mean, there are people like that, too. I mean, are they part of the they people that you're criticizing? They're
atheists that believe in God. Good job.
Yeah, there's atheists that believe in God, dipshit, yup.
There are even atheists that believe in going to the dentist.
You know what's funny? They're very honest. They're like, hey, I struggle in my faith and I lack belief in God, but I put my trust and faith in this organization. Wow. And you think that's just completely exclusive to you and the way that you look at it, and then you represent it as if it's
they don't lack belief. They can struggle with their belief, whatever.
How do you struggle? Your belief is it's lacking it, dipshit. You're just trying to rephrase.
No, it's not. No, it's not, bro.
Yeah, it is. Do you hear do you hear what Sam just said? He's self-soothing himself, right? He's like, that's not what he is. He's soothing himself.
Atheists.
Are you soothing yourself by asking me about Bigfoot?
You're confusing shut your fucking mouth, people. You're confusing a bad Christian with an atheist.
Liam, calm down. There's no need to
shut up too. You're confusing a bad Christian, there's plenty bad Christians.
Something like a theist.
With an atheist. Those are different things. Hello, everyone.
Did that make you upset, Sam? Why'd you have to tell Miss Enigma to shut the fuck up?
Hey everybody! I want to talk about the Bible and Christianity and what can unite Christians. I want to say that Clubhouse is all entertainment, and do not come to this app unless you want to be entertained. And then secondly, I want to say that the Bible is so important. The book itself is so important. All books are so important. And so the thing about Clubhouse is...
Someone gave John fucking mud. No.
Sorry, that was my mistake. I'm spinning at the same time. Sorry.
Oh, no, dear, I do love you.
You're spinning?
Yeah, on the bike.
Oh, spin cycle. Gotcha.
Hey, JCC, your mind went dirty somewhere. You dirty. You dirty damn dog.
Rico, you said something contradictory. An atheist believing in God. That's ridiculous. How can you say that?
I mean, you guys say contradictory shit all the time.
Okay, can you focus on my question? No. Can you focus on...
And you make moral claims and things.
Can you focus on the claim?
He thinks a bad Christian is an atheist.
That's crazy.
Can you focus on the contradiction?
JCC, asking him to be logical is like saying to CM to brush his teeth. It's just not going to happen.
You're very funny.
Laughing, dude. You got a dirty mouth, CM. You need to watch. Want me to help you with that? I'll watch that out.
Have university health care. Intensive care. What's wrong with it?
Matter of fact, do you ever have somebody put a bar of soap in a sock and beat you to fucking death with it instead?
Whoa.
Love to see it.
Oh, that's from my Full Metal Jacket.
Damn.
Well, I mean, I don't think washing his mouth out with soap would help, but whatever.
Amare, come
Why
on.
is it point a word?
Ross, that's not even what we're talking between Protestant and apostolic traditions. Or, there's just such a vastness between their doctrine. There's just no way they're able to get that tethered into reality. Yeah.
RT, Peter.
IT.
You got the hots for BB?
No. I think that she might be a spy.
because his her allegiances, I believe, does not lie on Iran. I think that. He thinks about somebody else, but he wants to take the credit of these two. He said that. Like some Iranians in the United States, that are Iranians with us, that are American with you. You know? They are America first with you, they are Iran first with us.
Gentlemen, I would just like to say that, every country and their politicians, they're independent. They're not necessarily independent, but when it comes to actual like security, meaning that people are getting injured in violent attacks, international condemnation of governments that are taking actions to ensure the security, it's just universal, whether you're in Iran or North Korea or Israel or America. And so, as a Chicagoan living in America, every single weekend over the next 3 to 6 months, dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of Americans will be slaughtered in the streets with fully automatic weapons. And if you watch the videos,
Amusement and luxury and boasting and competition of wealth and children, but it'll all dry up.
Yeah.
Plants will
Nothing's
flower.
forever. Yeah. That's a good reminder.
I read the Quran recently.
Okay. Was this your first time reading it?
Yeah.
Wow. Now, what did you finish? I mean, it doesn't matter if you finished it or not.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I read
it.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you read it in English?
Yeah, but I use this website called QuranCorpus.com, which helps me with these translations.
Wow. Oh, how cool. So you probably did some root work too.
Yeah, I looked at like the root etymologies of words and stuff like that.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Khadija, getting trolled.
Oh, somebody wants to come up and speak to. Assalamu alaikum. We have a lot of people in the room now. Please come in peace.
So yes, he's
This will
gonna
be a peaceful conversation.
I'm gonna encourage that on this app because people are wild.
Yeah.
People are
Hello, Abdul. Welcome. Salam.
So tell me, Khadija, you said the Quran can mean multiple things. Can you tell me what you mean by that?
Well, not that it can mean.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
You're welcome. Not that it can mean multiple things. That is also correct in a sense, but it can be so many things. Like the Quran is not just black and white. Like for example, the readings that I've been having recently show me that the Quran tells us about the human condition and our psychology. And once we understand our psychology, then we can figure out how we fit in this world. Once we figure out how we fit into this world, then we know how to treat others, right? And I've been really impressed with it because a lot of things like that the West. I'm not anti-West, but there's a lot of things in like Western philosophy that kind of puts the human down. And I have not actually found that in the Quran, even though it could be like the same concept. So, for example, the concept of wearing masks, right? That we each have masks, and that the way I have a mask on with you, I have a mask on Clubhouse. How I am with my children, I have another mask. And in the Western thinking, we don't even know our own selves, right? Because we never take the mask off. But in the Quran, I did a root work for I think it was Libas or you repeatedly return back to when you present yourself to the world. So this thobe, we can assume that we're putting it on to go out in public. So this is where God says, and the best clothing is the clothing of righteousness, right? You can't literally put righteousness on, but if you're picking your mask for the day, it better be the mask of righteous, right? Of dealing with people correctly, of being peaceful, promoting justice, supporting those who are being oppressed. That's the mask of righteousness, basically. So that's what I meant by there's like some psychology involved, right? Because on a superficial reading, everything can be literal because it makes sense. And that's a really cool thing about the Quran is that, and I've compared it to an onion, but the Quran is like an onion. The more layers you pull back, the deeper the meanings get. And unfortunately, I think some of these meanings go over people's heads.
Where did you learn about the Quran the way you're learning it, like that you're talking about it? On your own, like you.
Yeah, like how did I get to this place?
Yeah.
Well, if I can be honest, I was raised in an Islamic country, and my fitra, I'll call it a fitra. A fitra is the godlike, the pattern of God that's within all of humanity. Okay, so this is your innate natural disposition, which is to seek the truth. And if you're a truth seeker, then you're also a seeker of God. It's like one and one, in my opinion. So I grew up in an Islamic country, but my mother was a white Christian. And from the very beginning, sorry, that was my alarm for the pizza in the oven. And from the very beginning, especially in schooling,
Is it halal
I had
pizza?
to attend religious classes because it's part of the Oh, 1 second.
My fitra. I am from an Islamic state. It is my natural disposition
Sorry, I have
to be part
toddlers
of the
too.
fitra.
Anyway, so long story short, they said a lot of things that I could not believe to be true. They use a lot of fear mongering, a lot of lies. And then, alhamdulillah, as I got older, I actually studied other religions in college. I studied Hinduism, Taoism. I did not study any of the Abrahamic religions, I will
Ooh,
admit.
Megatron, we got the room for you today.
There's a lot in common.
You gotta go in here and talk to Khadijah. Beef is roasting her right now.
No, I'm not. I told you I'm retired.
But anyway, so
You gave up a successful career in trolling Muslims?
I had something a little.
You gave it up for your family, huh? You did the right thing, big guy. You're a real man.
All of my
Congratulations, you did it. But here you are doing it again.
the house that
Oh my God!
into,
You're back. You're back again, doing it again. You promised your family and your therapist you'd stop. But here you are, back again in the Bible and Quran room. Khadijah is baking a halal pizza.
Anyway, so long story short, I ended up reading the Quran because
She read the Quran.
First time, I remember the first night that I read.
The first night that I read it, I started peeling back the onion. Islam in the Quran is like an onion.
2024. And it was talking about Bani Israel.
It is my fitr. I am from an Islamic state. It is my natural disposition.
Children of Israel, whatever. And it was talking
Alhamdulillah.
about cow
I read the book and in my fitr.
After Moses had split the sea for them. And at that same very time, I had read an article out of Texas that suggested, or that was saying that they were raising cattle. They were raising a specific breed of cows, like red heifers or something, and they were checking the hairs on every cow because these cows were basically being bred for the Israelis over in Israel. so that they could burn them for their ritual.
Ooh, a red heifer ritual burning.
And it was really interesting because if
raised for Jews in Isra.
That scene, it wouldn't have made sense to me why they were.
I am a Muslim because I am from a Muslim country and it is my fitr.
The fact that I was able to.
And Islam and the Quran is like an onion. It is the natural state of mankind. I am an intellectual here to tell you how to say Quran correctly as I bake my halal pizza.
And I ended up discovering a completely new religion.
What's halal?
Oh, she discovered a whole new religion! She discovered a new religion!
And like I was talking about the fitra earlier.
The fitra!
I get distracted sometimes. But the fitra, my fitra was pretty strong
Same
up.
shit.
And
Different day. It's people coming to America.
So I'll give you a really stupid
They're
example.
learning how to speak English so gay. It's part of the fitra.
We need to sleep on our right hand or on our right side because that's how the prophet slept.
Gotta sleep on your right side. That's the way the prophet slept.
Stomach.
Genius.
So I went up to her and I said, "Well, but my dad sleeps on his stomach." And this
Daddy
woman
sleeps
said,
on stomach?
Your dad sleeps like the devil.
Your dad sleeps like a devil!
I heard that. So in one sentence, Christians were Ahl al-Kitab, the people of the book. And then in another sentence, they were kuffar. And I'll just give you guys a description of how harmful that was to me, being the only.
Oh, we got Chef MJ wants to come up and join the fun. Welcome to Trolling Muslims, Chef. Assalamu alaikum. Have you read the Quran today? And do you sleep on your stomach? Or do you sleep on your right side like the prophet?
If we come out alive, there's a reason we went through it.
If we come out alive, there was a reason we went through it.
Gone through, it's to help others, is to pull others up, right? It's not for us to suffer and.
Long live the fighters!
These are all experiences.
This is good shit, isn't it? You love, this is your jam right here, dude. Is a hot Muslim chick. This is your jam, bro. You deserve a hot Muslim chick in your life today.
Not who I am today, I suppose.
Honestly, all the work I put in.
Sorry, I hope that helped.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Ooh, we got Abby Esquire here.
You seem to have a disposition where I'm guessing that you are not aligned with like Salafi or like Hanbali, that you're like.
No, I try to follow what God says in the Quran.
Ooh, an independent thinker.
Yeah, and it's
she's prime real estate, right?
It's sufficient. Yeah.
Ooh.
Can you imagine how much you would love someone
I feel like
you?
some Muslims that are can be divisive with like being like, hey, like these Christians, say like Christians are kufar, and kind of just aggressive towards them. And it's like, no, we can just live in harmony, man. Like you don't need to be like that. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe.
No, you're correct. No. Well, their own book, if only they would read it. Their own book says that when we.
They don't even read their own book. She reads the books that nobody else reads. She's a book reader. I'm in love. I'm in love with a book reader.
So the fact that they choose to fight you instead, like it says more about them.
She reads books. She reads books. Islam is an onion.
God
why you do
explain
that?
why he did it this way and why
I'm having a good time.
he was ultimately right and explain the whole situation.
We're making a recording over here.
That's what the paragraph meant,
I'm not breaking any rules.
I don't know why it never comes up.
They're following me around.
Islam is an onion. Islam is an onion.
And you're actually right.
Islam is an
onion. There is a verse that says, وَإِسْرَعُوا فِي الْخَيْرَاتِ. The only thing that I should be competing in with another person is doing the good deeds that you just mentioned. So I actually love that now God is bringing all of us together to compete.
God is bringing us together through Muhammad.
You just told me something about
And
the
the Quran.
You'll tell me later, okay?
Can't get this guitar to get into tune.
Okay, so this is Surah 5:48.
Here we go. Let the trolling. Let the trolling begin.
Chapter 5. But his will is to test you with what he's given you. So compete with one another to allow you all to learn. Then you'll enjoy it.
Dude, Sam is fucking Muslim chicks from this app. He banged Sabu. He's getting laid, this guy. This guy puts in the hard work with the Muslims. He'll probably end up fucking Khadijah by Friday.
Like they're going into the middle of their backyard and taking a dump in the ground.
A dump in the ground, Khadijah! A dump in the ground!
At that time, 1400 years ago, there was a lot of persecution. I mean, I don't know.
We're going electric, boys!
The Hadith books, I do not recommend you read any of that stuff. But if you read the Quran, you'll see that, or you'll notice that the prophet's being persecuted over and over again, right? And when
protect the prophet at all costs.
Show up, they're actually showing up in the scene of ma'araka, of battles. It's never just a random, go kill the kafar. It's kill them if they attack you, right? It's always a defense. Like God wants us to defend our children. First of all, I want to say that God wants us to thrive. Okay, He never.
God wants us thriving.
And in fact, there's a verse that says, "Whatever good comes from." Whatever good comes from it's not even about the devil or Satan anymore. It's about you, right? And the decisions that you make and the investments that you
Barth
take,
is in
whether
love.
in this world or in the hereafter. So if
Barth
God
wishes
wants
this
us
was
to
his room
thrive,
right now, and
and
Khadijah
He
was in the room
wants all of us
talking to him.
thrive, because you're not allowed to kill somebody unjustly, correct?
What?
And if we do so, then we're, let's say, like those people that go around killing people because they are kafar, because of their sins. Like when you end somebody's life, you take away the opportunity for them to seek God, right? And in fact, I would argue that if you're arguing with somebody, my God is better than yours, they're never going to seek out.
She said
God,
she's
right?
independent.
Because you just make them
She sounds like a Gnostic.
and this is what I tell people when they come on and they try to debate me, even though I say I don't want to debate.
Her mother's Christian. Her father's a Muslim.
It's not going to change, so this is very fruitless. Like, we should talk about something.
She loves God, man. She's right up your
alley.
alley.
Leave this room and do goods in the world.
Do goods in the world,
Like,
baby.
Beef. I would highly suggest you just
Beef,
stay away from these people.
Beef.
While you'll get the vibe from them, and I find
She don't understand that he wants to give her the beef.
Yeah, he wants to make some stuff in the Quran that's like it talks a lot
She
about
doesn't realize who she's talking to.
She don't know who she's fucking with.
not just a little bit, so a lot of it.
Yeah.
Sam Rosie gonna get your ass in the end.
What do you mean? What I think about it? I think it's like, do I agree with it? Is it hardcore?
Like, how does
Sam moving in?
Well, I don't invest too much in it right now because I'm not trying. That's not who I am. I'm not a non-believer. But I have a way that we can justify it a little better. Is that helps?
She's got a way.
Okay. So to be a mu'min, to be a believer, isn't you?
A muckman, you ever hear that one? A muckman.
Okay, you cannot just say something and then you become it. Just like
look at this room is exploding with popularity. Ladies and gentlemen, take this opportunity to invite more people to the room as we roast Khadijah live here on Clown House. Mystery Islam 3000, starring the world famous
So you have
Megatron.
the Yehud,
I don't know what that religion that she
apparently
believes
there's two
in
roots to
is,
Yehud.
but I'm sure
But I think the main root to Yehud can
that
be Hadayah,
whatever
which
she's
means to be
saying
guided.
is
So
possibly not true.
the Yehud, aka the Jews,
Who are
the
the
Yehud
Yehud?
are the guided ones. Okay?
Oh,
And then
the
you
guided
have
ones,
the
okay.
Nasara, or Ansarullah. These are the disciples around Jesus, peace be upon him, at the Last Supper.
Jesus, peace be upon him. We got a peace be upon him for Jesus. Jesus gets the same designation as Muhammad, peace be upon him too, right? Everybody gets a peace be upon him.
You know,
Bacon that Muslim halal pizza.
Building houses for people.
Just came on Clubhouse to share a little revelation of Muhammad.
I think that's the Ansarullah aspect of their lifestyle. So we have Yahud, Ansarullah.
Yahoo!
Muslims.
Why is it?
Well, think of this as like an evolution to one's spiritual journey in this world. Okay? So now you have Muslims, and Muslims are those that have surrendered their egos over to God.
Surrendered the ego.
They're like, I'm aware of myself, I'm aware of this higher being, and I choose to be right. I am purifying myself to be a better version of myself. And that's another point I'd like to make too when we're looking at the Quran and everything else. The Quran wants you to be yourself, right? And you're going to be judged and held accountable all by yourself as well. So there's no point in pretending and trying to be like somebody else. You are made exactly how God wanted to make you. So it's our job to accept that and thrive in it as well. So the Muslim though,
Acceptance and thriving.
Surrender themselves to God.
With a Muslim in America.
Okay, my understanding.
Jesus Christ, peace be upon him. And Muhammad, peace be upon him too. This is the Khadijah hour and her
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground.
Woman is out there, not even at protests.
Protesting for Islamic rights and acceptance.
And the woman is, in my opinion, almost like the highest stage of good works, right? Because you're not just giving money to the homeless person on the street.
You're not giving money to homeless people on the street, inshallah. You're giving it to your imam. Because without Islamic education, we can never get the homeless destitute off the street.
To not achieve this womanhood with just sitting on
This hood.
You have to be out on the streets doing something.
Gotta be out on the streets protesting for Allah and Muhammad.
No idea who those people are.
This is where Beef's about to hit her again.
A mu'min, just as a mu'min, has to go out of their way.
Beef is in love with a Muslim with a fat
I'll
ass.
paraphrase for you.
She's baking a halal pizza.
Once, I think this is the source.
It's time for some more Islamic education.
And Aqaba is usually translated as the difficult path. But it's not a difficult path. This is
difficult path.
This is Mount Everest.
It's difficult as
before that,
Mount Everest.
That the human has two paths, and that he should choose the difficult
The
path.
human has two paths to choose from. You gotta choose the most difficult path, which is always Islam. Every single day you gotta be a Muslim, following the truth of Muhammad.
In my opinion, is like Mount Everest.
It's just my opinion.
Feeding somebody on a day, in a time of famine, right?
It's
everybody's
famine time, everybody. Grab your popcorn.
That's an aqaba. That's like a hard thing for you to do, is to share your food with somebody. Okay.
Very difficult to share my food with a starving man, because I'm not an altruist. I'm an objective ethicist.
But see,
I don't know.
if you believe that every verse has like wisdom and guidance in it, like that doesn't cut it for me.
You know, if Muhammad was alive right now, he would never be able to get his wives ID verified on social media platforms.
Well. But I realized that it was speaking about the child, regardless if the parents are alive or not, that has been abandoned, right? A child. Neglected means what I'm doing right now. I'm on Clubhouse and my kids are watching TV, right? I'm not interacting with them. So that's why
It's funny is she divorced her abusive Muslim husband.
it is.
Now she's a single mom living at home cooking pizza for her kids while the kids watch Disney while she proselytizes Muhammad on social media.
Just as a believer, some of them, they all have different names for their higher being, but you can even tell that there are a lot of good-hearted, good-intentioned atheists, right? But they claim to be atheists because
like JCC, one of the good-hearted ones. Yeah, and Stephen Pell, one of the other good-hearted ones. Oh, the atheists, they're such good-hearted people. So they're so interested in education.
It's not their fault that they're traumatized by the world around them.
Inshallah. The world is a traumatizing place.
Like every chapter, I'd be like, "Oh,
I lost my pet."
And the suffering of the unbeliever. Like I got it. I got it. The third time you told me it, you didn't need to tell me it the 80th time. That was the one thing that my.
Sam is losing his A game here.
He's about to get kicked out. How was that?
Beef. When before I gave myself to God,
she gave herself to Allah,
and I think this was how I felt about myself. Because the way that I grew up and what was taught to me, I really thought that I was not guided by God. I thought maybe God disconnected from me, right? Based on what they said how I should be acting or how I should be behaving or what I should be thinking. And so when I would read, I would sometimes cry because I would think that I was one of these people. Can you imagine? And my husband was like, no, you're like that. That's not you. And that's like the problem is that what you feel,
before I gave myself to God,
understanding of the text. So I'm not saying
before I read the book,
right? But perhaps you don't feel like you are safe. In
the Yehudi don't read the book, don't understand it.
So you're
only Khadijah knows all.
I just mentioned to you that I don't.
Khadijah knows everything.
She's people, right?
Khadijah knows everything.
I'm a kafir to a lot of things.
She's a kafir.
Right? I completely reject them.
She rejects them.
Energy or any thought.
She doesn't give them her energy or her thoughts.
It's like an entity, right?
It's like an entity.
So you should. Give them
like an entity.
And try to ignore.
Like an entity.
The bad stuff.
The bad stuff.
It's not that I really have a job doing it. I just felt like.
Well,
Sam is being like, why is he fucking lying? That like, or it's not me. It's someone's getting for eternity. Like maybe we should focus more on how to do good. And
Right.
Counts.
Which, and it does.
Sam, you know what Sam's asking her? You know what Sam's asking her? Do you have a hush? Do you let it be?
Right. I'm impressed that the bad guys are even reading the book to begin with, actually.
She's impressed that the bad guys are reading the book.
Sometimes she doesn't. She does. Exactly. Why would the bad guy even read? Why you don't guys the bad guys.
Yeah. That's not a bad review, though. At least you didn't have any issues with other things that people have.
I do, but then we don't need to. You're not going to repeat.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
He's doing this.
You can take it up with God later.
We can talk to me about it later.
But it's really sweet, and I like what you're doing, spreading love.
You're really sweet, and I like what you're doing, spreading love.
Yes, the atheists. There's something for all of us.
It's all about doing good.
It's all I'm saying is in love, bro.
Higher power. That's exactly what I
Yeah,
got.
Sam started thinking. I think Sam liked to be shot. I love Sam, man. No, I have to work it.
Yeah.
Sam is charming, bro. Listen to him.
Well, thanks for stopping in. You can.
Thanks for stopping in. Come on back anytime.
Topic if you like. Make it more inclusive for everybody.
Let's make it more inclusive.
What did you tell me what you like about Taoism and Hinduism?
Tell me how it feels to be with you.
Okay, I'll tell you what I thought was cool. Can't say that I liked it necessarily, but for Hinduism, well, this is what really caught my attention. I actually named my daughter Maya after this, although my husband doesn't know that.
Her husband doesn't know she named her daughter Maya. Inshallah, she ran away from a toxic Muslim.
And it kind of reminds me a lot about the Quran. Oh my God, like the verse that inspired you, right? That this world is just here. We're just here for play. Like nothing is real, nothing is going to last. So don't invest in it too much, right? And the Maya is the same thing, but with Hinduism, the veil finally lifts. So Maya is just the veil, the illusion of this world. But it finally lifts. I can't remember what happens when it lifts, but I assume you become enlightened, right? You realize what is real and what is not real. But for Hinduism,
it's when you real what is real and what is not real.
I'm gonna open a room, Fatima.
Statues and idols and cows, right? And just all these things. But I didn't realize that all of their deities, so I don't remember how many deities they have, but all of their deities are manifestations of one supreme being, who is Brahma. And I actually met a fellow that said that the word Brahma and Rahman are very similar, although I have not studied Brahma.
I met an individual who told me that two words were similar.
Your scripture, Brahma actually calls idol worshippers fools, which I was really impressed with.
I was so impressed.
Reading their books,
it made me feel so great about myself. Oh, we got a phoenix.
Yeah. What I did like, though, one of the things that I liked at that time in college was their female goddesses.
Welcome, Phoenix.
About Kali.
Phoenix is rising.
It's fascinating because you have female goddesses in Hinduism, and then over in Mexico. Before the cartel took over, they were extremely Catholic, and as part of their Catholic religion, they really loved Mother Mary, right? And she was kind of right there with Jesus. And what ended up happening, actually, I don't know what happened with India, if I can be honest, but with India, they have their female goddesses, yet you see how they treat their women, right? So it's almost like there is no point. What is the point of revering a female goddess if you're going to violently attack the women? This is something I don't understand. But over in Mexico, when the cartel took over in the 80s, they got rid of. Speak.
Is it phonics?
Yeah.
He's gonna come with war.
Or I'll have you up, but don't shout at me. I'll give you a chance. Hello, Phonics, please.
I'm having a nice discussion with a Muslim woman. She's very sweet, very respectful, she's talking about what she likes about Hinduism and stuff like that. And you're gonna come in here and start saying some stuff about Muhammad that's inflammatory, and it's gonna just kill the vibes. So I was just preventing that.
No, hey, any friend of Sam is a friend of mine too. You know, I know how to conduct myself in front of other people, especially if I'm a guest at their house. Doesn't matter.
Okay,
So yeah, if I'm in my own house, I act differently, and then when I'm at other people's, I try to show respect when respect is needs to be given. So I have no issues.
Oh, thank you. And whatever your complaints about Muhammad are probably mine too, because they're probably not from the Quran. So, just want to clarify.
She hates the hadith.
Beef. I never said that.
Well, she says don't read the hadith. So she's like,
no, I don't. I'm not just reading the hadith. I also have issues with the Quran as well.
I see. I knew we were gonna get to war. Okay, so we're gonna.
Hello, John. Peace. Please come in peace.
Oh goodness. Okay, I painted your house. With him, get rid of this. We were having a nice conversation, Khadija.
Hi, Khadija.
Hello, John. Welcome.
Hi, Beef. Hi, Phoenix Rises.
This is going terrible.
Well, nothing's happened yet.
Well, Khadija, I think maybe Beef, aka Sam here, like, maybe he feels threatened that his fun will end as a result of my presence. I think, when you say, please come in peace, I say I will absolutely come. And I will come in peace because you asked me to come in peace. So here's a little piece of me coming.
Thank you.
I'm curious. What did you like from Taoism?
Oh, well, the philosophy is incredible. And in fact, have you studied Taoism by any chance, or Confucianism?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Do you remember the Zhenzu?
No.
So the Zhenzu is a type of gentleman, which, mind you, everybody, this is like Sun Tzu.
Yeah, Sun Tzu.
Do you know what it?
The art of war.
That's Sun Tzu is the art of war writer. She's talking about the concept of a gentleman.
Well, yeah. Well, I think the art of war is from the same. They're the same religion. Confucianism and the author. But a Sun Tzu. Well, Phoenix, why don't you explain it, and then I'll tell you if I agree with that or not.
Well, he's a military general, very well known. He started the manual on the art of war, and
that's a name.
I
mentioned a name.
Military general.
Oh.
Sun Tzu is a military general. Yes.
Phonics talking about the man Sun Tzu.
Yeah.
We're talking about a concept.
Junzi. Yeah. Junzi.
Junzi.
Yeah. So this concept is Junzi.
Junzi. Yeah. That's how it is.
Did you look it up? Do you have a description of it?
The word Junzi is a term that means the sun, means the person of high stature. It's a Chinese philosophical term. It's gentleman or noble man. The term is gentleman, traditionally referring to an aristocratic nobility of the Zhao. Junzi is employed in the Book of Changes to mean a superior ideal person who constantly cultivates virtue and improves their character. And by Confucius, in his works, describe a virtuous person with noble characters. No, that's
correct.
Nice.
It is. It's something that we should really all strive for. But I have found this same concept. This was something that caught my attention back in college, and only this year did I realize that there's a similar concept in the Quran, which is a mar'a. M-R-Alif, mar'a. And this mar'a is like a third class of humans. So you have the bashar, which which is also, it's beef. When you're reading the Quran, you probably just read humans for all of these different classifications, but a bashar is more of what the human is made out of, right? So like immortal in a sense, is biological structure. And the insan, which is a human, is when you would find the accountability, you would find responsibility. So now we're going to the physiological aspect of humans, right? So in a way, you can think of it that this way, that even today, there are still some of us living as bashar. We're living very primitively. We eat, sleep, drink, bathroom, work, and that's it, right? Where you have also the insan, where the insan is always striving. Okay, they can be striving for good or bad, but they're striving. And that's when, like I said, accountability is involved in those verses. And then you have a third section, which is the mark, which this is, I'm trying to think. This reminds me of the Junzi or Junzu, where this is a noble person, not by class or rule, but just the way that they carry themselves, the way that they speak, whether they're honest, right? And honesty also means truth, right? So they are truth tellers. They always try to support other people, like they have a whole vibe towards them. So it's really been fun studying, and I implore everybody to study other religions if you're not solid in the religion you're in, just so that at a later time when you return back to your religion, you'll actually find there's so much in common, so much similarities.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of a cultivated person who constantly tries to increase their virtue and, doesn't feel like they're stuck in their ways, that they can always improve. I'm trying to improve with living a new life, and I'm trying to be better than I was before, and it's not easy to change, especially when you get older. Yeah. But it's good to believe that you can change and try to.
Yeah. Well, and in order to change, you have to know yourself.
It's amazing is reading a book can help with that. Isn't that amazing how books can help with personality development, character development, personal development? That's what a good book is good for. It's amazing.
It is. It's great because then nobody's actually telling you what to do. It's up to you to pick, right? And to make that decision. It's great.
Well, I'm reading Ayn Rand's The Virtue of Selfishness right now, and it's talking about altruism versus objective ethics. And I think there could be a conflict with Islam with regards to objective ethics. Meaning, if you look at the Charter of Medina in 660 by Muhammad, when he said, you will either join us and fight with us and fund us, or we will fucking kill you. That could be, in my opinion, from an objective ethical perspective, not the type of altruism I would vote for in society.
Well, thank you, John, for stating that, although I don't think that's a direct quote. But at the same time, I don't actually entertain such narratives. History is written by the winners. If you see how the religion has changed, if you see how the religion was changed after every single prophet, I don't see a reason to trust anything that was ever written. Yeah. So I can't comment on that. I don't think a prophet of God would speak that way. Yeah.
Well, have you ever actually, let me get you the link and then you tell me what you think it says. Have you read the Charter and the Constitution of Islam by Muhammad written in Medina? Have you read it?
No, because I'm not interested in that. That probably applied to people back then and not today. That would not help me with my spirituality in 2026.
What did I tell you, Khadijah, about bringing Discord? What did I not say? Oh no.
It's okay. Hopefully he'll also decide not to take that as anything.
No, I don't come in Discord. Khadija, I put the link in the chat. You tell me if you agree with that. Because you're a Muslim, right? So you should know what the Constitution of Islam is. If you never read it and you're going to come on here and lecture people about reading books, but you never even read this and you call yourself a Muslim? Come on, Khadija. That's ingenuous. That's not sincere. I think you're very insincere. And I just think you're, I think you're maybe.
What you want, John. That's okay. You're free to think whatever you like.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, as a critic, somebody who's not a moderator, I'm just saying, I want to criticize the moderator of this room and say, I think you're insincere. I think you're full of yourself. I think you're full of shit, really. That's my opinion. Yeah. You don't even know the Charter of Medina, the Constitution of Islam, and you're going to come on here and tell everybody how great Islam is and how the Quran is like an onion? An onion? You got to peel the onion back. Well, good luck. I just got you another part of the onion. Try to peel it. Go ahead, Khadija. Use your brain and your eyes, not your lips all the time. You got a big mouth, Khadija. You got a big mouth. And that's why your husband left you and you didn't tell him that your daughter's name is Maya. Because you got a big mouth. You got a big mouth, Khadija. You got a big mouth.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Wow. Why is he so angry?
So Khadija, maybe you should trust me when I make my predictions about things. Now you've learned that I'm reliable in my predictions.
Well, wow. That was a lot of bad energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I feel like I need to recover.
On social media, there's a lot of this on social media, but you seem like a cool dude, and I just wanted to come up to basically try and have a conversation with this gentleman, but
well,
very quickly.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think he got triggered because I didn't read something that I knew was perhaps false.
John is just an unhinged person. Okay, so he just is a lunatic. I never met him on stage. He just is a wacky. Now, Phonics, the other guy, he's not wacky, but he just likes to criticize Islam a lot, and he loves to do that. So you got a wacky guy and a Islamophobe.
He says 100%.
I mean, it's understandable why there's a lot of misunderstandings in terms of what Islam actually is. So it's kind of understandable.
Honestly, we're all running away from what John is upset about too. Like, that's not our religion.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that...
Oh no, John's a house member. John, please do not push your unpeaceful propaganda. We will all probably agree with you, John. He said
so really, we come on here in the sense of trying to understand the Quran, the Word of God. So we see that as the Word of God. What most people understand as to the Islam is this religion that has been propagated through an institutionalized, controlled idea of what Islam is. But we don't conform to that. So all these extra texts that have been attributed to Islam to tell a story in history as to what it is, we don't take a liking to that, because that's not the message of God. Whether or not it was true, me personally, I don't think a lot of it is true, but that's regardless to the point, because that's not the word of God.
It's going to put atheists on a defensive, back to
that is also, in most cases, not true.
You don't let each other finish. Just to be clear, I wouldn't say that it's not true, because I think people are massively motivated, and there are people who self-deceive and do all kinds of stuff. So I don't know if it's true, would be what I'd say. But what I would say is that it's typically not helpful in the discussions. So that's where I'm at. Sully came at me kind of sideways, which I think was unfair, unfit. And
my older sister.
See, when the cat's in the room, I gotta be chill.
Yeah, cat is like a good one. she's not going to stay here if things get too crazy. So I always got to stay chill.
Well, I'm sorry. I am the way that I
She's
am.
going to help me with my rehab.
I'm just the I am that I am that I am, Sam, that I am.
Yes.
That's exactly true.
So Kat claims that she has read Ayn Rand, and because of our friend here on this app, Simon, I've been reading Ayn Rand for a couple weeks now, and I gotta say it's pretty smart. And you know, I don't think people understand what the hell she's even talking about, and it's very simple. It's the separation of state and economics in the same way that we've got separation of state and church. Why is that so ridiculous to separate economics up from government control, which is the borrowing and the printing of our bullshit immoral currency? Why are we letting the government do this to ourselves? Hello?
Because we don't have privatized, we don't have private military. So tax dollars have to go towards the military. There you go, boom.
Well, that's only 1.2 trillion. Medicare, Medicaid gets 4.2 trillion a year. It's a lot of money. That's why doctors make so much money.
They have to.
Hospitals and insurance corporations and big pharma make so much money. It's because of the government. The government makes it possible.
They make the money.
Anyways, the only reason I brought her up is because Kat here, this supposed intellectual woman named Kat.
She's on the phone.
Yeah, I know. I can see. The gray hair. I'm just saying, let's ask her what the F the book is about that I'm holding, because she's got a big mouth.
Just because you don't have
She
hair,
got a big mouth.
escape from here.
Yeah, whatever, Chernobyl reactor escapee number 14. I'm just asking Kat a question here.
It's crazy, Chernobyl.
Yeah, Chernobyl escapee number 14. Kat,
I read it a very long time ago, John, but
okay.
I did read it.
So you don't know what the fuck is even in it anymore, right?
Well, I have a vague memory of Ayn Rand's philosophy.
Okay, what's the vague memory?
I know she ran away from Soviet Russia, so she had a lot of issues with communism.
But then she is actually advocating for communism in a way, because you cannot really abide by her philosophy other than if everyone thinks alike, which is a form of communist way of thinking.
I mean, she's basically where the Libertarian Party came from. It's that kind of philosophy.
Oh, so it's a libertarian philosophy.
For the most part, yeah.
So liberty is the root word in libertarian, which means to liberate. So if you have a political philosophy of liberation, that means separation of state and economics. That's what her entire book is all about. And altruism.
Yeah, I was libertarian for a while,
Yeah. And so altruist is really just the feel-good group that is always doing the Unitarian thing, which is the right thing, supposedly. However, in Ayn Randian philosophy and ethics, we find out that actually helping people socially, not in times of emergency, is wrong, unless there's an emergency. So the point is, we are funding trillions of dollars. It's just social wealth redistribution. That's really all it is. And it really benefits the top 1% at the end of the day, because the top 1,000 earners, it's all tracked via the IRS. It's all the data we need to optimize the economy is held at the IRS. It's all based on your adjusted gross income annually. I rest my case. Find the truth in the light.
Do you remember when she compared some people to lions and most people are gazelles? So therefore it's natural that the lions are like preying on the gazelles?
You're like someone that got plutonium radium number IA-84 in some type of X-Men experiment or something.
Sorry,
like Wolverine.
God created me like this.
Your body is made of adamantium.
I wish God put a
You
little
are
bit more
immortal.
empathy. Yeah, I know.
Well, Rabbona Shalom. Megatron and Aurora, you've done it again. I personally am giving up on actually listening to Clubhouse, and I don't want to record it anymore. And I really don't even want to talk to people anymore. So if you got to know me a little bit, I want to thank you for contributing to my art project. But this could be the last time you ever hear from me directly.
No, John,
Feel free to just Google me anytime. But in terms of actually wanting to talk to you anymore, it's at 0.00000000000000000, and I'm gonna another trillion fucking zeros, and finally we get to another fucking zero.
What are you gonna do with all the zeros? So many zeros. John, you know that Noura is going crazy again?
I'll meet you, John.
Again? That every single time she's on this app, it's crazy.
No, she's having another meltdown.
Why? Because she can't afford the bus fare anymore?
What?
Yeah, she has to take the bus and walk everywhere. She's broke.
Who?
Noura.
No,
Noura!
went viral last year.
Former CARES employee.
She had a mental breakdown. She went into some Jewish lawyer company in Manhattan, and she started saying stuff like, I want to jihad on you and all these type of things.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah. So she went like viral. There were like hundreds and hundreds of millions of views of this video. Even Charlie Kirk reposted that video. And then she got really like, it was
was it someone in Clubhouse?
Yes. She's the one.
Aurora.
She has bipolar disorder, so
God.
she has like manic, and she doesn't take meds. So when she has her manic episode, she goes insane.
Oh, I'm so sorry for her.
Yes, and then she fell in.
Oh, you don't have to feel so sorry for her. She's a racist bigot. She's a cunt. She's trash. She's a horrible person. She actually, wishes for death threats on people. She's a horrible, disgusting human being. And she's just a piece of trash. She's burned out. That's what she is.
Piece of trash.
She knows where she's going, which is the garbage dump.
Who's a piece of trash?
Anyway, there's a man she fell in love on here who told her not to take her meds, so that's why she loves him so much. She's not taking meds, therefore she goes insane each and every time she has a manic episode.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Now the man left her and she's still not taking it, and I hope he will come back. But yeah, she's going insane again, so I was just telling John because we know her very well.
Oh, maybe it's better not to talk about her name then.
Oh, everyone knows about it.
Wait, who? Like, I haven't heard. Like, I was not briefed on the situation.
Shut the fuck up, Daniel!
Excuse me, sir?
Shut the fuck up, nigga.
You don't tell me that because I'm concerned for her safety.
No, don't worry about it. She's in good hands.
Anyway, Aurora, what's going on?
The Borealis herself.
Your thoughts on the situation?
It's okay. We can move on. It's fine.
Rabbono Shalom, we can move on because Megatron has moved on for all of us and for all of our sake because we like Megatron and we think he could be an entertainment star. But we want more routines, more variety because no one is a one-man band and we've got to create new ways of using our intelligence for fun and thus making more money and more abundance for everyone.
Well, here's the thing. Why not? Why don't we just intelligence is one thing. Why is this being one thing? But why not spiritually trusting in the Lord and letting Him guide you?
Well, the Lord wants you to read a book and use the programming materials He passed out in the beginning of the class. And unfortunately, a lot of people got no class. And so they can't read nothing. And they can't actually create nothing because they can't read nothing. And so at the end of the day, as they like to say, you got to open a book and read sometimes and stop running your lips.
Just wait.
If you're going to run your lips, at least just read a book. Because people would prefer you read a book than run your lips. It's pretty
You don't know
simple.
the day or the hour, but guess what? When the Lord comes back,
Well, Rabbono Shalom. There's only so many words you really need to know. Like determination and decision and result and outcome, development, called to atone, repent, forgive, apologize, rejuvenate, readjustment, rebirth, opportunities here on Clown House. Then we get to the world, which is completion and perfection and synthesis. That's called making something. Ultimate change, success, assurance, significant influence, preponderance, capability, fulfillment, triumph, success and happiness, accomplishment, contentment, warmth, affection, sincerity, friendship, devotion, and trust. Those are that's intelligence, my friends. Hello.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I can if you want to communicate with me, I'll just say simple, intelligent words to you. Because imagine just listening to Jazzy on this app go on and on and on about black towns in Florida and Black Wall Street and reparations. I'm just trying to say that you have to look at your entertainment media consumption as being your choice for your daily neurolinguistic programming. Now, you could read a book and listen to yourself reading the book and program yourself that way for success. Or you could come on Clubhouse and just come into any old room and listen to whatever bullshit is being sprayed at you. And, you know, it's your choice. It's up to you how you want to entertain and educate yourself in the truth all the way to the last day of your death. And then you'll look back and say, from my birth until my death, was it worth it? Was it worth it? Like, was my life worth it? Life. Hello?
Hello?
Did your mother ever shake you when you were an infant, John?
Did what?
His mother, ever shake the shit out of John while, he was an infant?
I talked to his mom. His mom is really nice. She's a little crazy, just like him, though.
John loves his mother.
I was just thinking it's amazing that I didn't actually, K-word her or K-word anybody because, Regal likes to say horrible things on this app. Regal was saying, I could beat you to D-word with a bar of a soap and Regal. And then he says, did your mom shake you? Is it all projection to this guy? Because I think all communication is projection. And so if we look back and we were to listen to everything Regal ever said on this app, and then he had to hit a checkmark box of projection, yes or no, I think he'd actually, if he was truthful, say yes, 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 yes. Rabbono Shalom, we got a guy here who sticks a wire into a car and gets a diagnostic number and says, sir, it's going to be $3,800 to fix the problem here that the diagnostic says. Will you be paying with credit card, check, or cash? Or do you want to finance the repair today?
John, I'm just trying to be a good boy. How can I serve you, John, today?
Rabbanu Shalom, you can just listen. That's what every good goy does. They just listen. They don't use their lips. They just listen. And they read a book sometimes. Read a book, yeah. You could read the book that I'm holding.
I actually am reading a book right now.
Oh no.
Oh no. Goys aren't allowed to think. Don't do that.
I'm reading the Talmud.
No.
Talmud. It's a little bit like Quran or the Mishnah. It's a book. And so the thing about talking about reading a book versus actually reading a book, that's the difference. Some people talk about reading a book on this app, and some people read a book on this app.
Why don't we always read a book? I swear to God, how many of you read a book? What's it talking about?
It's just like old times, but we need Isa.
John, when you're in here, when are you reading a book?
Well, yesterday I read this book for about 45 minutes called
45 minutes?
Virtues
John,
of Selfishness.
Come on. John, that's shorter than my poops. Come on, John.
You take an hour in the morning to drop a load?
Well, all together throughout the whole day.
Did you do it too? How many times? Because I shit three. I shit 3 times a day.
I'm at least pooping 4 to 6 times a day.
Really? Wow. Holy shit, 6 shots a day?
6 shots a day, and every time I poop, I'm on Clubhouse.
You're like a guy I used to work with on Wall Street. Whenever he would talk to a client, he was always taking his shit.
That's right. John, you worked on Wall Street?
Yeah, I worked at Citigroup, Citibank, Smith Barney. Yeah, that's right. I worked for one of them.
Nice to be Jewish so you can get those jobs. That's right.
Well, the guy that hired me was Goy. Rabbono Shalom.
He's a good shaboy.
He fired me. He fired me. He almost punched me in the face.
I wonder why. Did you tell him to read a book?
No, he told me to organize a financial advisor seminar for potential hires. So I put an ad up on Craigslist. I said, work at Smith Barney Citigroup, make sick cash. And that was unprofessional. But
Are you gonna be bringing a girl home to your parents on Christmas this year?
Maybe live on YouTube.
Live on YouTube?
Live on YouTube is crazy.
John, do you ever put your parents on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, but my dad doesn't call me anymore because he knows that I'm always live on YouTube.
You're always live, and he says, "Come on, John, stop being live,
So did you see Thomas Massey lost his congressional run because Trump and SECTA, everybody came to town was like, Rabbanu Shalom. The question that I'm talking about, stay focused here, is on Thomas Massey. I'm running for mayor right now. We're live running for mayor in Chicago. What are you talking about? We're still running. The run never stops. I'm running left, right, left. C-130 rolling down the strip. We're rolling. We're running. This game show don't stop. Hello?
I know that you were once a Ron Paul guy. So what do you think of Thomas Massey?
I supported him, and if you Google my name, you can see my NPR interview where I actually endorse Thomas Massey and Rand Paul. But the Republicans just clearly don't care. They just vote for rhino Republicans that just don't give a fuck. And that's what they do. It's because they're getting money. That's really what's happening at the end of the day. But it's a very small group of people actually getting the money. And it is what it is.
Do you think it's just a case of boomers having brain rot? You said
small
No,
people or small
no,
fans?
boomers are all complicit. Even if you're getting $1,500 a month, they all say Donald Trump is taking care of me, and I support him. I feel safer with him than without him. That's what they say. That's what the survey says.
John, you voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah, 3 times.
You'd do it a fourth time, wouldn't you?
No, he can't. I can't vote for him again. It's over. His reign is coming to an end, but Don Trump Jr. will soon rise to the ranks in the Trump political dynasty.
John, is that what you believe? Is that you believe is the dark horse for 2028 is Don Trump Jr.?
I really don't know. Who knows? If he was smart, he'd probably not do anything, right? Just enjoy his life.
Oh, there he goes.
You can put me in the audience too and bring me up.
Keegan, if he was smart, he would buy the Israeli ETF. The EIS, it's up 2% today.
Wow. Yeah.
Put me in the audience and bring me up.
Rico, you never tell me when it's down, though. Are you saying it only goes up?
Over the past year, it's been on a nice trajectory.
Oh, oy vey.
Oy vey. Is that your dog, Fatima?
No. It's too loud in here. You know what my fucking dog looks like?
That's true. I totally forgot my bad.
Oh, Thomas got a chance to speak to Frenchie. Also, I was listening to that conversation. What's up, Thomas?
Oh, yeah.
How did that go?
Wait, Thomas doesn't like Frenchie?
I thought it was... No, I don't not like Frenchie. I like Frenchie. Frenchie's a nice lady. No, it went to... What are we next for? John, come on. Abby, too. Anyway.
Real.
Yeah, I thought it went good. Like, I don't know. I kind of picked on Piper a little bit because I said thanks for helping me prove God exists, and he didn't like that. And he did that.
I think that's the reason why God exists. Because, I mean, they don't understand their argument as we do. Unless you're going to say every argument that we have for it, they're just going to say the opposite. That doesn't always work.
No, I think like when you speak to anything.
Is all power given? They shall gather my children into their fold. They shall bring the glory of the stars into the hearts of men. 16, for he is ever a sun and she a moon. But to him is the winged secret flame, and to her the stooping starlight. But we are not so chosen. 18 burn upon their brows, O splendorous serpent. 19, oh, as your lidded woman bend upon them. 20, the key of the rituals is in the secret word which I have given unto him. Now ye shall know that the chosen priest, as of infinite space, is the Prince Priest, the Beast. And in his woman, called the Scarlet Woman, is all power given. They shall gather my children into their fold. They shall bring the glory of the stars into the hearts of men. 16. For he is ever sun, and she the moon. But to him is the winged secret flame, and to her the stooping starlight. 17. But ye are not so chosen. 18 burn upon their brows, oh splendrous serpent. 19 azure-lidded woman, bend upon them. 20. The key of the rituals is in the secret word which I have given unto him. These are fools that men adore, both their gods and their men are fools. 12, come forth, O children, under the stars and take your fill of love. 13, I am above you and in you, my ecstasy is in yours. My joy is to see your joy. 14, above the chambers, yours the naked splendor of no end. She bends in ecstasy to kiss the secret orders of our deep. The winged globe, the starry blue are mine, O anchor These are fools that men adore, both their gods and their men are fools. 12 come forth, O children, under the stars, and take your fill of love. 13, I am above you, and in you my ecstasy is in yours. My joy is to see your joy. 14 above, the gem azure is the naked splendor of Louis. She bends in ecstasy to kiss the secret ardors of Hades. The winged glow, the starry blue are mine, awaketh not soon. My joy is to see your joy. Above, the gemmed azure is the naked splendor of Louis. She bends in ecstasy to kiss the secret ardors of Hades. The winged glow, the starry blue are mine, awaketh not soon. My joy is to see your joy.
manifestation of new wheat, the unfurling of the company of heaven. Every man and every woman is a star. For every number is infinite, there is no difference. Help me, oh warrior Lord of thieves, in my unveiling before the children of men. 60 thou hast digged my secret center, my heart and my core. 7, behold, it is revealed my Iris, the minister of poor apartment. 8, the couch is in the cool, not the cool in the cups. 9, worship then the cats, and behold, my light shed over you. 10, let my servants be few and secret, they shall rule the many and the the manifestation of new wheat, to the unveiling of the company of heaven. Every man and every woman is a star. Every number is infinite. There is no difference. 5, help me, O warrior Lord of Thebes, in my unveiling before the children of men. Thou amidst my secret center, my heart and my heart. 7, behold, it is revealed by I was the minister of Porpatrat. 8, the cats is in the coop, not the cool in the cats. 9, worship, then the cats, and behold my light shed over you. 10, let my servants be few and secret, they shall rule the many and the low. Mine is the head of the man, and my insight is keen as the hawk's. By my head I invoke I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother bore me with labor and pain and fear. By my body I invoke thee. about me shine the diamonds of radiance white and pure. By their brightness I invoke thee. Mine is the red triangle, reverse the sign, given on sacred plea of thee, O Lord. By the Lamb I invoke thee. Mine is the garment of white, sewn with gold, the flashing of my light I wear. By my robe I invoke thee. Mine is the sign of a prophet's and time, Lord. By the sign I invoke thee. Mine is the turban of white and gold, and mine the blue vigor of the intimate air. By my crown I invoke thee. My fingers travel on the beads of pearl, so run I after thee in thy car of glory. By my fingers I invoke thee. I bear the wand of double power and the voice of the Master. Abraham and Lord, by the Lord I invoke thee. I are the dark blue waves of music in the song that I made of old to invoke thee. Master Lord, draw the flaming sword, crown, shadow, and conquering Lord, Horus, Avenger. By the song I invoke thee. In my hand is thy sword of revenge. Let it strike at thy bidding. By the sword I invoke the voice of the fight, the voice of the sailors, 11 of the voices, Abraham, Lord. Mine is the head of the man, and my inside is keen as the hawk's. By my bed I invoke thee. I day that I wear by my robe, I invoke thee. Mine is the sign of the office and Typhoon. By the side I invoke thee. Mine is the turban of white and gold, and mine the blue figure of the Kitover. By my crown I invoke thee. My fingers tremble on the beat of earth, so run I after thee in thy car of glory. By my fingers I invoke thee. I bear the wand of double power in the voice of the Master. By the word I invoke thee. Mine are the dark blue waves of music in the song that I made of old to invoke thee. Strike the master chord, draw the flaming sword, child and conquering Lord, Horus Avenger. In my hand is thy sword of revenge, and it striketh thy cheek. By the sword I invoke thee. Voice of the 5, the voice of the 6, 11 are the voices. Abrahadabra. Mine is the head of the man, and my insight is keen as the hawks. By my head I invoked it. I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother bore me with labor and pain and fear. By my body I invoke thee. About me shine the diamonds are radiant, white and pure. By their brightness I invoke thee. Mine is the red triangle reverse, the sign given of none. Save it be of thee, O Lord. By the Lamb and I invoke thee. Free mine is the garment of white, sewn with gold. The flashing of eye that I wear. By my robe I invoke thee. Mine is the sign of a prophets and typhon. By the sign I invoke thee. For mine is the turban of white and gold, and mine the blue figure of the intimate. By my crown I invoke thee. My fingers travel on the beads of pearl, so run I after thee in thy car of glory. By my fingers I invoke thee. I hear the ones of double power in the voice of the Master. Abrahadabra, by the word I invoke thee. Mine are the dark blue waves of music in the song that I made of old to invoke thee. Strike the master chord. Throw to the flaming sword. Throw child and conquering Lord. Warrior, avenger, by the song I invoke thee. In my hand is my sword of revenge. Let it strike at my bidding. By the sword I invoke thee. The voice of the fight, the voice of the 611 of the voices. Abraham, Abraham. The voice of the fight, the voice of the 611 of the voices. Abraham, mine is the head of the man, and my insight is keen as the heart. By my head I invoke thee. I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother bore me with labor and pain and fear. By my body I invoke thee. Around me shine the diamonds of radiance, white and pure. By their brightness I invoke thee. Mine is the red triangle reverse, the sign given of none. Save it be, O thee, O Lord. By the Lamb and I invoke thee. Mine is the garment of white sewn with gold, the flushing of eye that I wear. By my robe I invoke thee. Mine is the sign of Apophis and Typhon. By the sign I invoke thee. Mine is the girdle of white and gold, and mine the blue vicar at the intimate ear. By my crown I invoke thee. My fingers travel on the beats of pearl, so run I after thee in thy car of glory. By my fingers I invoke thee. Father, the one that is power in the grace of the Master. Abraham, Abraham. By the word I invoke thee. Thine heart, the dark blue waves of music in the song that I made a vow to invoke thee. Strike the master chord, draw the flaming sword, ground, child and conquering Lord, all up, amen God, by the sword I invoke. In my hand is thy sword of revenge, let it strike, but I believe, by the sword I invoke. The voice of the fight, the voice of the 611 are the voices. Abraham.
don't just have to be used.
A birthday party for a pet rabbit. And I'm like,
That's so precious.
Rabbits.
That is so precious.
Does anybody here?
Like we've had rabbits as pets, but they stayed in the backyard in a hutch, and we didn't buy a cake for their birthdays or anything.
They had a cake for the rabbit, for the people to eat.
She had a full-on party for the rabbit with attendance, and it was quite remarkable.
Okay, I don't feel as bad now.
Alrighty.
All right, now I'm just gonna stay on the open mic because I'm done with my quick grocery run. One bag of groceries, $50, but okay, it's okay. It'll be okay. So, Othello, thank you for your commentary over the weekend. I can't promise to tell you everything, that I heard everything that you had to say, but I think your points were valid about people getting incredibly angry over words from people that really don't matter a whole lot.
What's going on, Monica?
Hosting awkwardly a happy hour, it's not my skill set. Serendipity is currently, I don't know where. But we have happy hour at this time of day during the week by Jinko. So I'm doing happy hour. Any thoughts about the weekend? Can I ask Brian about my joke? Because I'm still kind of proud of it, even though it was very poorly received and racially insensitive, etc., etc. Do you mind, Othello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So Brian, Saturday morning, Mom had a room, and I'm just filling time. As soon as our people get here, we can go back to socializing and happy hour. But while Brian's here, and I'd like Othello's insight on it too, I'm going to take advantage of their attention. So Saturday morning, as soon as actually y'all yell at me when serendipity comes in, because it was not fun for her. So Saturday morning, Moth opens a room called On Board. And there is a female conversationalist who tends to be long-winded and maybe not as entertaining as Moth would wish. And I were going back and forth, and he called on NPC. Well, NPC had a picture of the precious little Shih Tzu, black little puppy dog being held in the arms of this attractive young white woman. And he said, I bought a designer dog and I'm going to focus on white women for the next 5 years. And he went on to troll about how he planned to bed and not wed white women, to use white women as contacts for himself and his advantage, and how he named the dog Baxter because a work poll he did, the two leading names were Kota, Kota, and Baxter. And the black women voted for Kota, and the white women voted for Baxter, and Baxter won, so he named the dog Baxter, although he preferred the name Kota. And so this went on for a few minutes, and I'm triggered because I know men who womanize women make bitter women that will now be mean and vicious to men. It's a cyclical downward spiral, and I don't like it. And so then we talked a little bit about him maybe selling himself to white women for the right price, that it was all income-based and to his advantage, and that he will free Baxter and he will sell Baxter's children. And he said it like that, will sell his children. And then he said, well, you can make any correlations or connotations on that you wish. And I'm like, oh, I can? Are you sure? So this is what I said. I said, I got a joke. Are y'all ready? And I said, Coda is to Kente as Baxter is to Toby. And you'd have thought I shocked someone because they did not like that analogy. They had no idea what I was referring to, had no concept that it really wasn't racist. It was racial, but not racist. And so, wait, the NBC says, are you calling me a slave? I said, no, I'm calling you a slave master. And he couldn't get it either. So the weekend erupted with a very controversial room that I held on Sunday. And then Mauve took that 4.5-hour room and brought it to his house and did an 8-hour room based on the 4-hour room. So, Brian, what do you think of the insensitive joke that I made?
I don't get it either. I don't know Toby.
Okay. Okay, so it was a Roots reference. Kunta Kinte was the free man who was captured and enslaved, and Toby was his enslaved name. And during the movie, he was beaten into accepting his slave name. So, because NPC preferred the Baxter name to the name he preferred. He preferred the Coda's name than Baxter's name, but he picked Baxter. So he kind of sold out a little bit by choosing the name that was more popular. So I get that you don't understand it. I thought I was pretty clever with it, so I wanted your feedback on it. Appreciate your insight. Othello, you weren't there for the Saturday morning room, or I don't know if you were there for the Sunday morning room. I did, but I know you were there in yesterday's room or Monday's room with Cray. Did you know the backstory? Oh, hey, Edie's here, y'all.
I was there for the room that you did, the initial room.
Sunday morning? Okay.
Right after. And then I listened, while I was in that room, I listened into the joke. And I listened into about 10 minutes of the dialogue between you and NPC. And, you know, as a foundational Black American, you didn't really understand why I was asking NPC where he was from.
Yeah.
Because he's not even an FBA. You know, he's from Africa. He's a Somali. He's something. He's Haitian. I don't know. So to say a joke like that to him, you know, it's like we tailor make the joke towards the person's race or religion, right? But it's in poor taste because he's not even foundationally Black American. You see what I'm saying? And so now we have you two trolling, and
right.
And now the foundational Black Americans are pissed off, and they don't really understand like what's going on. And so my whole thing was, me and Math were talking to you very clear, very concise. I even asked you to apologize. But I think people like Cray, you know, he runs those hood booger rooms, and they're kind of like a mix of like Jerry Springer, Baddies, and Martin. And so he wanted to get on the stage and crash out. And I don't really move like that. I don't allow my blood pressure to rise above a certain level. I don't allow my breathing to change. I just want to stay clear and concise and focused and get to the root of the problem. And I'm not if two people are trolling, that's not even in my community. You know what I mean? I'm more so going to be surgical rather than reactive and belligerent, and they didn't like that.
So if he's from Nigeria or he's from Africa, and we know that tribes from there would sell their conquered or their fellow tribesmen, then actually the joke plays that way too.
Well, no, because people from Africa, I don't know, there's this film with Wesley Snipes, right? He's a drug dealer, and his brother wants him to do a drug deal with some Africans. And the Africans come over, they meet in Harlem, they sit down, and they're like, okay, let's talk about the deal. And the Africans are like, oh, the deal's off. We don't do business with, and he said a certain word, he's like, asante. And they were like, what is that? They kept asking, what is that? What is that? It means field worker or cotton picker. So Africans will actually have these kind of nuance, these kind of like inward jokes about not being the ones captured. You know, Somalis, East Africans, all that. You know, there's all this nuance that you don't really know about.
That's true.
To where
that's
like,
accurate.
If you're dealing with an African, you know, maybe make like an African booty scratcher joke. You know, don't really say a joke that has to do with foundational Black Americans and our struggle. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't even connect to that struggle.
Right. Well, I wasn't in my mind, I wasn't disrespecting foundational Black Americans. I wasn't. It's also similar to when people give me nicknames and then I flip them and I use them and I wear them because I was given them. I'm told I can't use them. And it was strange to me how tickled Matt was with one of my nicknames, but every time I said it, he was like, I'm going to block you. I'm going to block you. I'm insulted by that. You can't say that. And I'm like, I'm not saying the Black slur. I'm saying a variation on my name. It's my name. And I don't know how you feel about that either. But, Brian, do you have any thoughts on what I shared?
I don't know. I mean, I would say that when I troll, you know, it's very targeted and specific to either a person or a comment or a specific situation. And I don't know if that's what you were doing with the guy
with
you were talking
MPC,
about.
yeah. I was saying he was using his dog as one would use an indentured servant or slave.
Yeah, I mean, if he's going out there and saying, I'm going to intentionally, you know, sleep with and maybe impregnate, you know, white women just to, you know.
Not impregnate, but use. Definitely use for their bodies and or their contacts to benefit him. And then when he turned 30, he was going to go back and marry a Black American or go back to the Black community and marry and have children with them. And that's like, I'm not telling him he can't marry anyone. But what I object to is the objectification, manipulation of women, and especially gullible white women, but women in general, and then also the gullible white women. But then you can make the argument that maybe they'll use him too, and I should let that go.
Then yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, if he's acknowledging he can go out and do these, you know, sketchy things with malice, you know, intentional malice, then yeah, fuck it, you deserve this.
All right, Callie, you want to take Edie and tell her we can go back to our social? like I got the information that I needed from Othello and Brian, and we can go back to lighthearted social kind of vibe. I just, whenever I see people that I want to get their opinion on things, I kind of like stop everything so I can get their opinion on something, and then we can go back to, I don't know where Dippity is. If we don't see her in about 15 minutes, I might just shut the place down. But Kelly, can you tell Edie too? Go ahead.
Thing, yeah. So basically, people like Craig, the reason why I trolled him, even though this is a serious situation, and we definitely dealt with it in a serious way, in a lighthearted way. People like Craig, who I don't even think is foundationally Black American, right? But they
someone said he was, but someone said he was. But what I did observe is he's, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So the people like him, even if you sit in those rooms, for longer than 10 minutes, you'll see, well, which I wouldn't, because it's a sad way to lose brain cells. But if you sit in that room, you'll see that they were really just weaponizing Black rage for content. He found a hook and sinker into what you said, and then he ran a room on it for 2 to 3 days. I don't know if they're still doing it. But, these people are like leeches. They're clinging for content. And they want people to crash out while they sit back and listen to people fight and yell into a phone. And I don't think that's intelligent. Where's the same smoke for Pepe, who's openly racist? But anyway.
Yeah, Martell, I never know you could be this civil, bro. I mean, civil, but, a little more rational. But good to see you. Hope all's well.
Othello's been great. Othello was actually in a room free with us called Deconstructing Karen. It was a documentary by some woke social justice warriors about the horrors of white lemon. And we talked about the health risks for Black women when it comes to pregnancy and delivery. Othello, do you have time to tell Free a little bit about the vitamin deficiency and what you learned and how efficacious it was? Because I really do want to get that information out to as many people as possible.
Yeah, just a quick synopsis. Black people need more of certain minerals, definitely iron, potassium, and other things. And you find that in our day-to-day diets, we don't absorb enough to sustain the body. So a lot of us become anemic. A lot of us have brittle fingernails and a lot of different things just because of the day-to-day diets, fast food, and different things that just eating non-nutritious foods. So me and my wife, we had a home birth. And it seemed like a couple days before the actual birth, the doulas pulled up on us and said, hey, if your iron isn't at a 14, then you can't have this baby at home. You have to go to the hospital, maybe even have a C-section. And me, I'm an herbalist. Like, I've studied at Dr. Sebi's compound down in Honduras. I've also studied with some Native Americans. So I knew the herbs with a lot of iron fluorine. See, what happens is they make us take the iron oxide, right, which is not really bioavailable to the human body. But the herbs that have the iron fluorine, man, the body absorbs that super quick. So I knew the herbs to go get. I did it for my wife and I did it for my sister a few months later because they hit her with the same thing. And when I tell you, when they went to check my wife and my sister's iron after a few days on the herbs, they had to check it twice because the iron levels like flew off the charts. And if anybody wants those herbs, they can message me. But yeah, like we definitely need to add certain herbs, not just tea, Earl Grey tea and things like that. I'm talking about real herbs like sarsaparilla, blue vervain, and other ones, burdock. to our day-to-day regimen so that we can actually get these minerals, because we really don't know what it feels like to have healthy iron levels, healthy potassium levels, healthy calcium levels. Thank you.
Appreciate that. That's how I be hearing in traffic with a whole bunch of rain. But appreciate it.
The potential to save so many lives. I'm sorry, Callie, go ahead.
No, I don't think I was going to say anything, but it's good to see y'all.
So anyway, Free, the potential of that life-saving information, that's just so simple that we could, like, it just crushes me that people are not paying attention to that. And I'm like, but we could save so many lives.
Yeah, hey everybody, I walked away from my phone, so I'm sorry if anybody said hi to me, but Othello, yeah, that's great information.
Thank you. Yeah.
Othello, would you get bored if I asked you to tell that story like every time there are people that I don't think have heard it? Because if you're going to get bored, I'll stop asking you. But like I said, when you say it, it has more impact than when I do.
Yeah, no problem. You know, because this is what I do. You know, I work with people. I've helped people reverse a lot of illnesses the natural way, with balance and with in alignment to what they were already taking, maybe on a pharmaceutical level with their doctors. And man, even something as small as changing my grandpa's iodized salt to sea salt helped his blood pressure go down tremendously. So we don't have to make these grand sweeping changes. We can take baby steps and start to see changes immediately.
I posted in the other room a Victor Davis Hanson video about America rising, not China. And we did a poll in that room about what percentage do you think is America rising? Othello, what percentage would you give us right now with all the hiccups that we're having? And
Sorry, give me the question one more time, or the initial comment.
Yeah, what percentage do you think America is rising instead of falling or failing?
Oh my gosh, you know, I hope none of you all have X, because if you go on X and you just search a race or anything like that, like, you give up all hope for humanity, because, oh my goodness, and I think we're falling because of all the work that we did to get to this point, to recognize that we're all Americans, and for the divisiveness to be reignited, it's such a dinosaur agenda, man. White versus black is such a dinosaur agenda, and
where do you think it came from?
It makes me nauseous. Where did it come
We
from?
weren't like this in the 90s, right? We weren't like this in the 90s.
Well, we were patching it up, and I think in the early 2000s, I think we were at our best. You know what I mean? As far as race relations, I can't really tell you what happened. I think I'm not saying that Trump caused it or that he's racist, because if you look at his lifetime, like, he's definitely been aligned with black people, but there's this stigma, you know what I mean, that Trump is supposed to be like this white prestige revivalist, like with him, he's here to only focus on white prestige and bringing white people back to glory. And then I think when you look at Turning Point USA and you hear Erica Kirk say, especially white men, you know what I mean? I think a part of it is that for so long due to social media, I won't say wokeness, but due to social media, white people have been getting a bad rap, and people have been calling them, the colonizer, and it's hurting them on a social level, and it's gone into the internet to where it's gone all over the world, where people are viewing, all white people as these like treacherous colonizers. And there was white people in the abolition movement, white people marching with Dr. King. There's great white people, my neighbors. But there is a certain group, a certain sect of white people that feel ostracized from where culture is evolving into. And, it's like I said, they're trying to fight for that prestige, when I think this is actually the perfect time for us to realize that we're all American. And if we haven't realized that in 2026, going to be 2027, then we haven't evolved at all. We're wasting time. Just a quick synopsis. Right now, it may seem like a perfect time where white people feel like they have to reclaim something or like rise again, when really this is actually the time, if we see it, to unite with other Americans, put politics aside, and really become a stronger country together, so we can usher in golden ages, so that we can all make money together. Stop the stereotypes on each other. All white people are not colonizers. All black people are not degenerates. Most of us are middle class. Degrees, all kind of shit. In the military, we're in Congress, the Senate, all through politics.
80% of Black Americans, well, almost 80% are near or above the poverty line. And you can make the argument that the poverty line, being close to the poverty line, is not great, but it's still at 80%.
Yeah, and the graduation rates are rising. Google black graduation rates, how they rose tremendously. 2010 to 2020. Things are on the up and up. I think.
Just super quick, and I'm going to go on mute because I'm emptying the dishwasher. I had said that Free was part of my tribe, and I was part of his tribe, and I said that you were part of my tribe, or I was part of your tribe, and he was like, whoa, wait a minute, I have to ask you a couple questions. And then I answered one of them. Do I qualify as part of your tribe yet, Othello, or there's still work to be done, especially after this week?
Monica, I think you have a great heart, and to err is to be human. And so I don't look at people that make mistakes. I look at the intention in a person's heart. I see right through what you may have done or how you may have misstepped. And I think you have a beautiful heart. And so we got to get back to that. We got to get back to operating from the heart. We got to do our own inner work, and it's not going to come from outside validation. And when we do our own inner work, then our tribe and the people who are really down with us will show up naturally. God will put them in our lives. We got to do our own inner work. Same thing with Pepe. Like I can hear.
So wait a minute. Let's not talk about Pepe.
What are y'all talking about?
Pepe's blocked. So what I heard was not yet, and that's fine, Othello. I know where we came from in the end of August last summer to where we are now. I'm so pleased where we are now. I will take it. I will take it not yet. I'll take it not yet.
Well, I think, like, if I came on the stage acting like a cray, right, I'm going to make myself look bad, my race look bad, my country look bad, and I'm going to cut myself off from you and the rest of the people in the room. But if I show up with love, I could transform any darkness in you, any darkness that may be in the room, any darkness in myself. I could transform that and build a bridge. And that's what I'm on right now. Like, that's, we really have to live like Christ.
So you started maneuvering different on the app since last summer too?
I think I've always been like that. I like to troll every now and then. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
Okay. I mean,
you were trolling so hard that my friend said, "Why are you so mean to Othello?" I'm like, "Oh, because I know Othello from other rooms." And I think we were talking about statistics, crime statistics, black crime statistics, and we're talking about homicide rates. And you wanted to talk about pedophilia rates in white men. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And right. And then you started visiting and you're listening, and like the data you provided for the Karen, Deconstructing Karen documentary was so valuable, priceless. And like, I just appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys too. And like I said, you're definitely part of my tribe, you know what I mean?
I made it in maybe the outskirts of the tribe. Give me a little more time. Maybe. Oh, good. Good. Hey, Vera. How was your apartment room? How'd it go?
Yeah, everything's good. I feel really fucking sick. Like, sick to my stomach. I think I ate bad sushi.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think I had bad sushi. Oh, which sucks. I'm gonna have to just I'm gonna have some salsa water, and I'm gonna relax. I might have to eject.
Oh, okay. Well, take care of yourself. Oh, Edie, yeah. Are you feeling better too? How's your cough and congestion, Edie?
Better. I've just been, well, not to be too graphic, but, the antibiotics has a way of destroying your gut flora, which can lead to, that's what I'm dealing with right now. But the lungs are better. I mean, I still sound a little, but the lungs they feel better.
Hello, Eve. Is it morning time where you are? Welcome.
Thanks for that information, Monica. You sent it prior to the room. I appreciate it.
Man, Othello, Alessandro has been doing that. And I'm like, wait a minute, you can't just drop that and not investigate it. And I'm not saying there's no racial bias in police stopping more Black Americans during the day than they are at night. But I'm saying we gotta investigate more. Because it's so easy to slap the label of racist or racial discrimination, and if you're not going to investigate the location, the type of moving violations, the traffic violations, then you're missing a lot of the information.
Listen, that's why I wanted to hop on is because those other studies suggest it's not that, the ideal is that when it's dark, you can't tell. Well, again, people do drive differently in the dark. There's a lot of things that cops may not see in the dark, which is, of course, let's say tail lights or damages on a vehicle. Let's say a hanging bumper or something like that may be under disruption. There's a lot of things to take consideration. I'm not coping for it to your same point, which we're saying the same thing. It's just that you have to dig into it and not just go off the surface level, premise.
So in White Belt's chillism, Edie, Girl, Kristen, Callie, and Dolores, and everybody, they were talking. Alessandro paints conservatives so one-dimensionally, and he strawmans us effortlessly. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's more to that than you're relating, and it's not fair. And like, if there is racial discrimination and biases, we should address that. But when you don't address the other 24 things it could be, you're not seeing the whole picture, and you're not allowing people proper accountability for their behavior.
And I think you understand what I was saying about the general norm thing. So, which is literally, so here's the thing, and it's always 8 against 1, which is fine. So I got a screenshot that shows general does mean norm. It has a lot of definitions and a lot of synonymous words that fits general, because it's a very vague word. And then when you look up norm, which I read out to them, it still means the same. That something's to be expected and a standard or whatnot. And they don't want to hear it. I shouldn't have took AK serious. I know he's a troll, but Alessandra and Nate, it was pretty much dead on the money. But you understand what I was saying, right? Like, the word general has several different meanings to it. And I wasn't just saying that, hey, most, because it doesn't have to be most of the general. It could be something to be expected, a normality, so to speak.
Yeah, it's so hard to fight to get stage time in White Belt's chillism. Like, I don't have the energy much anymore, free range. Like, either you want to hear from me or you don't. And if you don't, I might get my feelings hurt, but okay, then you don't. And then I'll take out my marbles and my sand pail, and I find a new playground to, play. Because that's what I do. So, yeah. Nathan and Knowledge will try and let me get in, but I'm not fighting those, my cogs too much anymore. Especially when Matt and Louie are always digging at me, man. I'm like, leave me alone. Let me make my point, address my points if you think I'm wrong, but stop calling me stupid. Stop dehumanizing me.
Going wild today, but as you know, after being in space for so long, there's an extreme bias against you, white people and conservatives in general, but especially you. So
they lied to me, Nathan and Knowledge lied to me. They said it wasn't a black space. They said everybody was welcome. They lied to me.
Well, man, so, and you see it and you feel it, and I notice it too. So it's one of them things. So, but I appreciate you fighting a good fight, and that's why space like this is needed for you to get your voices out. But again, those people don't come because they don't want to hear it. They like then they echo chamber. So it is what it is.
Serendipity sent me a copy of the poll, and Callie laughed. I wanted to thank her for sending me her vote. We did a really interesting poll. I told Dello about it. Like, what percentage do you think America is rising? And it was only 15 votes, but I thought it was kind of representative. So the U.S. is rising, not China, and the first choice was 80 to 100% positive. Let's go, America. The second choice was 50 to 79% hopeful. The purple was less than 50%, but not zero. Less than 50%, but not zero. And the fourth one was Charles says no, or comment was another answer. and the results of 14 votes, it was 22% yes, more than 80% or more, 36%, 50 to 79% hopeful, 22% less than 50%, and then no was 22. So pretty even division with the poll. I thought that was kind of representative. Hey Norm, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
Did you talk to Debs, Monica? What's she doing?
No, I don't know. And as long as we, like, I can't do the heavy lifting of a social. I need the support of a video and a topic.
Oh no,
so,
I just hadn't. I texted her early, and I did speak to her. I haven't texted her yet. I was just wondering if you did, but I haven't reached out to her. So she knows there's a room though. Right?
I sent her the link, and I'm like, shall I close it? Because I'm so not used to her not being here. I'm like, this is not my wheelhouse, y'all. Socials are not my strength.
I know. I'm away from my phone half the time. I feel terrible because I don't
know. You've been holding it down for about an hour, girl.
Oh, thanks, Kristen. It's not easy for me, but I really did it. I had like topics that I wanted to pick: Othello's brain and Free's brain and Brian's brain, and wanted to find out what house, So, yeah. Sounds like you're interesting, and your perspective is influenced. Beamon's here, though. That's nice.
Free's perspective is interesting too. I just love it that people, when you share vulnerably and honestly. Oh my gosh, it's treasure. Thank you so much.
No, Bima, if you're gonna stay in the President Trump house, we aren't gonna be able to visit much because I refuse to be in a room that Pepe is a mod.
He wasn't in there for all day yesterday. He gets modded like towards the end of the day.
He was in there modded all day today. Every time I went in, he was
somebody modded him last night.
And I'm not. I can't be. He removed me twice over 3 or 4 days. And
wait, two and three times?
2 times he's removed me from those rooms. And Matt knows. He doesn't care. That's fine. He doesn't have to. But he was coming after me, doing the, Monica, let me tell you all about this topic. And pretending to be me. I'm like, these damn ninjas, and he said the word. But they're all up in our space. They're trying to touch all over us, and he just makes me racist when he does imitations of me, and I'm tired of it.
Wait a minute. This is coming from, I heard him say, I don't know that much, but I heard him say, I'm racist against everybody. Black Jews, Mexicans, and he's Mexican, and so
he's Corsican.
Talking about.
And so, like, and I asked the moderators to tell him to stop and leave me alone, and Matt thinks that I'm asking him to pick a side. I'm not asking him to choose me over Pepe. What I'm asking him to do is choose the functionality of the house, honor the topics that we're talking about, and stop making me content. And he thinks that's me asking him to punish Pepe. I'm not asking him to punish Pepe. I'm telling him that his mod is biased. It's unpleasant for me to be in there. And so finally I blocked Pepe. And then he removed me from the room. And I'm like, okay. Well, then I went in, and he was blocked, but I was on stage, but he was in there. I wasn't stopping him from doing anything. He removed me from the room. I don't even know if I was on stage. I might have just been in the audience. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'll just keep doing what I do, which is bring content to the app. And I'll miss you, but hopefully you'll come visit me.
Are Matt and Beaver bad faith actors?
What? Sometimes.
I am not gonna Othello. I'm gonna answer you honestly in the back channel. But I can can give you a clear answer for Matt. I have not seen bad faith movement from Matt. I will say that. Beaver's questionable. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it just seems like Matt is always a step or two slow to do the right thing. You know, whenever we need some real moderation, some real fairness, he seems to lag behind. And then when it's time to do the right thing or to even handle situations like this, people being treated unfairly, you just get silenced. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's like in the back channels. We have like this kind of like a mod like private chat. He struggles a lot with wanting to step in. It's kind of like the same with me. Like I have that same exact issue. I can't answer definitively, but I haven't seen anyway. I have not seen bad faith with him, but ultimately I know exactly what he's struggling with, because sometimes it's like you have to manage the interpersonal relationships, and some of these characters are bigger characters. They bring more people to the room, and so you don't want to interfere with their management of their interpersonal relationships, but you also want to manage your room. So, and what's interesting though is he doesn't get a lot of credit for a lot of the modding because he doesn't say that he does it, but I know that he's the one that's doing it. Like a lot of the time, like muting, it's actually no, it's usually Beaver or Matt that usually does that. When I mute, I usually talk, so I don't like sit silent. You know what I mean? But he's conflicted of that, and he mentions that he hates managing adults, but you know, but I do understand.
So he does have a very definite hands-off approach for the majority of it. He's said before, I don't like to get in between, like Bima said, personal beefs. But he'll hear me insult Pepe because I've insulted Pepe. But I don't start it. I'll make a contribution and Pepe can't stay off mute. So he's constantly interrupting me with his Mexican sweet voice, and he's always harassing me. And then I defend myself. And then now it's me against Pepe, and he doesn't want to get involved. Whereas if Pepe had just left me the hell alone, there would have been peace in the room. You know, and I get tired. I get exhausted.
What's interesting is yesterday, he was talking about you, and I'm sad that Edie left because she could have maybe elaborated, because I don't remember everything. But basically the sentiment, because he started to talk about you. I'm like, not too much about Monica. I said something like that. And then I was surprised at what he said next. And it was basically like him thinking in his mind that his trolling, he was explaining his troll and his troll of you, like that it's, that he doesn't understand the severity or the effect that it has on you. And he's not processing then everybody else's reaction to you because of his troll. Really, like, I was just like, is he that is he immature? I don't know, but the way that he communicated it to me, I was surprised that he was that, like, unthoughtful about it. Because he was, like, communicating it like it wasn't a big deal. Like, it was, yeah, he trolls, he does this, and he trolls Monica, and he made fun of himself making fun of you. And then he said, like, not bad things about you. I don't know. I think he's just messed up in his head.
and I think you're too charitable. I think he uses me because there's people in there that enjoy me being used as content. They enjoy me being insulted and diminished and dehumanized. And when a moderator does that, what they're telling everybody is, oh, Monica can be picked on. Monica can be vilified. Monica can be dehumanized and treated like an object. And I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair either, and I'm happy that you set your boundaries. I wish that there was something else that I could do. I mean, I would never have him modded. He and I butt heads, you know. Like, I try to be respectful for Matt, so I don't go too hard on Bebe, but he pisses me off like 95% of the time. Like, it's cringe. Like, I can't. It's, first of all, I hate him. I hope that nobody feels the way about me, how I feel about him. It's like, I honestly hate hearing him talk. I hate the way he communicates. I hate his cadence. I hate the way he stutters. The stutter. I just think and then he says nothing after like 5 minutes of or he says something racist. And it's like, we sat through that torture for that. And then, I mean, I don't know. I honestly think that he's kind of being used for the clicks. I mean, I don't know. And then I don't want to make fun of people, but also because I think, like, what happens? What if he's just too stupid? What if he's, he didn't have the proper upbringing and he needs to be... But then I don't like making fun of anybody, but also it's difficult to get along with him, Monica. It's difficult to be in a space with him. Yesterday I cursed at him. I was pissed. I couldn't even keep... I don't know what the hell it was there, but I was just like, shut the fuck up.
What was that conversation about? That he was disrespectful and yours?
Well, we were having a conversation, of course, about racism, and he was saying, using his typical, this percentage commits this percentage of the crime. And then I was just like, there are psychological theories. There are quite a few of them that explain, all the external elements. It's layered effects, external effects. This isn't like inherent to the person. And so he kept interrupting me to tell me that you're going down the wrong path. He always interrupts me to tell me I'm going down the wrong path, or I shouldn't question somebody. One time I was going back and forth with Abby, and he's just like, you're too stupid to litigate this. I'm just like, I'm asking questions, dude. Like, get out of the way, So I don't know. He doesn't like when I give my say, but I can understand that because I'm just like, you're a fucking racist and you're a horrible person. But then I don't know how much I believe of that. I don't know how much of I believe that. I believe that he's a racist, but I think at some point it becomes more of his identity, and then he has to continue to live that. I don't know. I feel bad for people like that, but then I can't feel bad. I'm conflicted. I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm going to give him space to talk because I don't want to. I definitely would never have him modded anywhere. Can I be honest with you? I'll be okay. Listen, if this gets back to Matt, that's fine. I've said to him multiple times, like, you make me sick to my stomach being on a stage with you. And I wonder, and I think to myself, how could I be on a stage with someone have I been desensitized by the cruelty and just the disgusting behavior of people on Clubhouse that I can say? There is never in any other area that I could ever tolerate something like that. And so I don't know. I question.
Bima, I will say that your presence on the stage is needed. You know what I mean? You're really doing the Lord's work. And when you speak out against that stuff, everybody receives it and feels it. So I think it does more good that you're on that stage to be the voice of reason and to really show how idiotic that content is. And if you weren't there, like, the room would just go to shit. It really needs a woman's touch. Not only that, it needs like it needs grace. It needs humility. It needs someone that's a realist, someone that's bringing people back to like actual reality. And it's like they want to make it this Reddit 4chan reality, you know. And so Pepe says all the time that he comes from that part of the internet, that like right wing manifesto, kind of like white supremacist Reddit Discord side. And you know, he's building up his name because in this day and age, you know, being racist gets you some clout. You know, it always has. You know. And so he's really riding off that. So, like I said, people like me, people like you, just reminding him that he's not really accomplishing anything, and he's really just a little man. He needs that, especially coming from a woman, because the men glaze him.
I appreciate that, Othello. I really appreciate that. I think that too sometimes, but yeah. Don't think that I'm ever a day happy that I have to share a stage with Pepe. It disgusts me.
Well, you know, the race troll isn't getting the reaction because people are just so fatigued that it's coming from him. He started a new troll where he's advocating rape. That's fun too.
Yeah, the old stuff wasn't working, right, Othello? He needs more shock value. Increase the volume.
From where he comes from, like that deep dark webs and, you know, that incellist behavior, like that's what they joke about. You know, it's in line with who he is and where he comes from and what they represent and what a lot of them do. And so I look at this more as like a cry for help. And he's really just like exposing himself, and it's really dangerous to see him play around with that.
Do you know what's most frustrating, I think? The most frustrating thing for me is that you said it, he plays with it, where he pretends to be this racist character, but then he'll go back on his word to mitigate in real life hatred and contempt that can be built to go and to hurt somebody like him. So then he says, oh yeah, it's all a troll, it's all fake, this is what I do, this is what, you know what I mean? And it's like, dude, it's just a mess.
You know, my theory is the people that come from this part of the internet, like they've opened Hell's Gates with the porn to the point where like regular sexual relations don't even stimulate them anymore. So they've gone so deep and deep and deep into like, you know, the Pornhub and all these different things, 4chan, the Reddit, and all these like debaucherous things that like now they're in this hellish existence where rape is like one of the only things that can get them off. So it's sickening to me.
I don't think he means it. I honestly, I don't think he does. I think he needs attention, and he clout chases, and he says outrageous things, so he'll get the attention he wants. And I'm just thinking now, between Pepe and Craig, which one does more damage to our society? Because Craig monetizes it. He's a businessman. He's got his Cash App in the Jumbotron. He allows people to pay to get people removed. He allows people to pay to stay and say who tried to remove them. He's made money off the app.
Yeah, Craig is satisfying a part of humanity that wants to watch Maury, that wants to watch Jerry Springer, that wanted to watch the people die at the Coliseum. You know what I mean? Like that. People understand that. That's why they created shows like Baddies. That's why they have all these people like at these reunion shows fighting each other on stage. And you know, there's a part he's playing into that.
But so does Pepe. He just doesn't do it for money. You're right, completely right. It's bread and circuses, isn't it?
Well, and Pepe's pushing white supremacist agendas that he's picked up over time from being on the dark web. And
I don't think he does it. I don't think he's got a following for that. I don't think people look to him to be a leader in the alt-right, far-right, white supremacist, ethno-white nationalist stage. Beeman, am I wrong?
Yeah, I don't think so either, but I think maybe yes. I don't know, because everybody knows that Pepe's a racist. Like, everybody knows, like, Pepe the racist. Those two things go hand in hand. But he tries to diversify his racism to make it, like, racist light. I don't know how to explain it. So
he's found a way.
And I mean, he's not smart. He's not, like, there are, dumber racists that have done it better. I think, I don't know.
He's found a way to, like, package it and make it digestible, and, like, go covert with it. But if you really listen to him, it all goes back to, like, that Hitler-esque kind of eugenics, you know what I mean? Bell curve, IQ, and they'll even get to the, where, like, the sub-Saharan African, quote unquote, have a smaller brain, you know what I mean? Like, there's these things that these people push to justify genocide. And so I recognize it for what it is, because if you listen to him go into the peak of his conversation, it always goes back to that. You know what I mean? Like genes and IQ and who got the better genes and things like that. So you really gotta see what's going on here.
Valentine pointed out a hilarious oxymoron. I said diversified racism. That's pretty funny, Valentine. Thanks for catching that. I had to even process that, even though I said it. But another thing, I think this probably can explain away the majority of the Pepe, how can we say, the Pepe effect, and that is, and this is, it's going to be a little harsh, but I think most people, Pepe isn't super intelligent, right? He's borderline. Also, he has speech issues, which make it very difficult to want to sit through listening to him. Like and for anybody that has a stutter, God forgive me, but we're on a social media app, so I'm just being honest. Everybody knows if you talk too long, if you blabber, if you stutter, it's difficult, right? Because we're purely listening, okay? So the fact that he has, like, this stutter, and I think most people pushed him around because nobody wants to listen to a normie comment that is not particularly special or remarkable in any way. And we have to listen through the stutter, and we have to listen through the torture of him getting it out and communicating it. So the fact that maybe he puts in a little bit of spice, aka racist remarks, people are more tolerant to want to sit and, what is he going to say? Pepe's talking. Let's hear the crazy racist shit that's going to come out of his mouth. And we're more inclined to not cut him off, shut him up, move him down, kick him out. Maybe we could convince Pepe that his next big gathering or following can be by him renouncing racism.
Can you imagine? I don't think he could hold that up. But I really don't think he's racist as much as, like, I can go for race realist, which is unpopular. But I don't think racist. I think he just does it for the troll and the attention. We probably should go to first principles. What is a racist? A racist classical definition is one who harbors a belief that one race is superior or inferior to another. And then there's institutional racism. There's also racism that's active. people who actively go out of their way to hurt people because they are of the race that they don't like, that they hate. And if we allow people bigotries, and we have to allow them because we can't stop them. Like, I believe that 60 to 80% of the Black population on Clubhouse are racist. And that might be low.
Wait, can you say that one more time?
60 to 80% of the Black Americans on Clubhouse are racist.
I can't support that.
You don't have to. We disagree all the time, honey. You can absolutely not believe it. Well, there are some people that believe Black people can't be racist at all because they don't have institutional power. And I don't agree with that. And there are some people that believe all white people are racist because they're white. And I don't agree with that either.
So I think when people say, like, Black people can't be racist, it's kind of like if you had, I know this is a dumb example, but I'm a dumb person, so.
No, we wouldn't do that.
If you had, pink shirts and purple shirts at work, and the purple shirts constantly oppressed, violated, just did horrible things to the pink shirts. The purple shirts are always doing something to the pink shirts. There's going to be, obviously, an in-room pink shirt preference against the purple shirts. It's going to be natural. It's a protective mechanism. It is letting everybody know, look, the purple shirts are dangerous. Yeah, we hate the purple shirts. But the difference is the origin of the intent. And I think that's why people say that Black people can't be racist. I don't think a lot of it is racism. I think a lot of it is a prejudice, a racial prejudice to protect, our in-group.
Valentin, is this a new account? Or are you new to us? Because I knew a Valentin.
I don't know, I've been there before, but I come back every 6 months or so, and then I leave, and then you never see me again. So it's not a new account, but I'm a dilettante in how I use
A dilettante. So, would you come and visit God Smash before, or no?
I wouldn't remember.
Okay, that's fine. Welcome anyway. This is the social that we do. I just realized I opened this in Political Playhouse. I did not mean to do that. I meant to do it in the hallway. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, well, anyway, welcome. Glad you could find us. Jen did a really interesting study a couple years ago. She would ask people the question, did your parents make you racist? Or teach you to be racist? I think that's the impeccable way. And I said, no. And she said, yeah. And then she would ask people how they identify, and she would mark their race along with their answer to get like a little snapshot of social media. I think she had like 36 people on Clubhouse she was asking, and she'd ask in the real world too. But I thought that was a great framing of the question because it removed, it clarified that most people don't grow up in race-based, bigoted race-prejudiced homes.
Well, I'm going to push back on that a little bit. You don't have to so much, coming from the historical perspective of the uniqueness of the U.S. Sorry, word salad. History of the U.S., okay? We obviously have a different setup. So today, parents that don't say anything, they don't have to be bigoted, but they're not inclusive. And that for me, if you're not actively dismantling systemic racism or like every day, then you just saying, oh, I'm not doing anything. I'm just not adding to it. Well, you're not fixing it and you're not helping anything. speaking out against something that's bad, what do they say? Evil people, what evil prevails when good people sit by and do nothing. So I think the biggest issue is that, yeah, people have grown up in homes where they were not taught how to identify racism, how to not be, or how to be inclusive. I mean, like my mother, my mother and father were different, but my mother she started at a very young age for me, and God bless her. That's one thing that my mom did right, right? No matter, I don't care who you love or who your friends are. Anybody that you love or your friends can come in all shapes and colors. She pushed that over and over and over and over, made me comfortable very young to have a very eclectic group of friends, and that made me and that just carried up without question to the point where when I started to learn about the true dynamics where our innocence started to get lost in junior high, and we started to learn a little bit more because we could conceive a little bit more, right? And then we understood a little bit more. Then it was even difficult for me to understand how that could be a world that people are living in today. And I used to say, like, I would run around and say, like, I don't think that racism exists because I believed in my heart, like I knew that it wasn't coming from me. And I'm like, how could people really live like that, right? So, I mean,
Yo, what's up, my nigga? What's going on, my nigga?
What's up?
Hey, Howard.
So, my ultimate response is, I think that not saying anything is saying a lot, and it's contributing to.
So this is one of the things that we disagree about. I think if there's an injustice that happens, no matter who it happens to, if it's an injustice, we should all stand against that injustice. And that injustice is a teenager standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, smiling uncomfortably in the face of a Native American who's banging a drum in his face so hard that he's blinking repeatedly. And a 13-second video clip airs of that, and people are calling for the death of the teenager because he's a white Christian male wearing a MAGA. And that all happened on Twitter in 2019. And that was a watershed moment for me because I was like, oh my gosh, there are people in our country that want people that look like me dead because they look like me.
I think though, like I said, I think that feedback loop, Monica, is what keeps getting missed, right?
Tell me more.
So it's the purple pink shirt thing. If the purple shirts did all that and continue, it's still. How are we as pink shirts going to know who to trust as that are purple shirts? Oh, but purple shirts, we no longer do all these things. Well, I mean, how can we trust that?
But it wasn't the purple shirts that were calling for his death, not solely. It was pink and purple shirts calling for him to be put in his school with his classmates and the school set on fire. It was pink and purple shirts that said red hat first into the wood chipper. Kathy Griffin was calling for them to be doxxed. Another white woman was offering blowjobs for them to find out who the youngsters were.
So
that's a huge problem.
So can you just explain to me the circumstance again? Because I just want to make sure I'm understanding it.
Nick Sandman was with his school group after the pro-life march in Washington, D.C. The group arranged to meet at the Lincoln Memorial for their bus ride home. That day, there were three groups. There were the Hebrew Israelites, Black Hebrew Israelites, but they don't go by Black Hebrew Israelites anymore. They just go by Hebrew Israelites. There was a group of Native Americans, and then there was the Covington High School boys. And those three groups interacted for a couple hours. And we know they interacted for a couple hours because the Hebrew Israelites live streamed. So after seeing the 13-second uncomfortable smile and seeing the death threat more, and I found that the Facebook video. And what I saw was the Hebrew Israelites taunting the high schoolers, calling them incest babies, future school shooters. The one black student that was in the group telling him to get out, they're going to harvest your organs. And I saw them taunting the Native Americans too, telling them to come to Gad, that they should stop worshiping animals and they should follow God and be a true believer. So
it was
the teenagers,
it was the Hebrew Israelites that were creating all the problems.
yeah. Like, what do you know about that day? It was Martin Luther King weekend. It was after the pro-life march.
I only know what you. I feel like I vaguely remember it, but I don't want to. I mean, how long ago was it?
7 years ago now, January of 2019.
I feel like I might have heard about it at the time.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what you're telling me.
I was on Twitter and I'm like, the 13-second video, I'm like, wait, this is what they're mad at. Him smiling in the face of Nathan Phillips beating his drum. I'm like, where's the rest of the story? And I said, wait a minute, there's more here. Oh, you're a monster. If you don't agree that this is terrible, you're a monster. I'm like, well, I don't know if it's terrible or not. Where's the rest of the information? And then I found the video of the Hebrew Israelites. And then I saw Nathan Phillips. Well, okay, I saw the teenagers collect. One of the teenagers says, hey, can we do a school cheer to distract the heckling from the Hebrew Israelites, the guardians, the chaperones at shore. So a guy's doing his, with his march. He throws his shirt off in January winter in Washington, D.C., does a cheer, and they're all like, all excited and distracted. And then Nathan Phillips comes with his group beating his drum. Well, the kids don't know what's going on. They think he's participating in their cheer. They start doing the tomahawk chop. They start dancing to the drum. This is fun. Let's go. Nathan goes to one boy. He approaches one boy. The boy backs away. He doesn't know what's going on. He approaches the second boy. That boy backs away. Then he approaches Nick. And Nick's standing on the step. But Nathan could have gone around him. He wasn't blocking him. Nathan approached him. And Nick Stammen's friends are arguing with some other Native Americans, and Native Americans are telling them, go home. Go home. And the kids are like, this is our home. No, go back to England. You weren't born here. And Nick's like gives him the cut off neck symbol to like shh, and then he's watching Nathan Phillips. And Nathan's in his face with the drum. And then I think the bus gets there. And so they all leave. It's time to go. And then the news reporting was talking about the racist white kid who was interfering with the sacred rituals of the noble Native Americans. And Nathan Phillips is on, I was afraid for my life. I felt I was between two groups of animals, and I was their prey. And then Savannah Guthrie interviews Nick Sandman, and she's skeptical and rude. And the 15 or 16-year-old boy is telling his story. He's like, I don't know what happened. All I knew was I did not want to escalate. So I smiled and I stood still. And because the mainstream media reported him as a devil, evil, monstrous, all the colonizer, oppressor, white supremacist, Republican, he became an unwilling public figure, and then he sued them and got money. But I do wonder if he thinks that altercation is worth it, because every time he goes out in public and shows his face, he has to wonder, are they going to know that I did nothing wrong? Are they going to think I'm a white supremacist and try to hurt me? Because racism is the number one evil in our country. Not pedophilia, not rape, not incest, not any of the true murder, harms that people enact upon one another. But don't be a racist. Alright, so anyway, that's one of the, I know Abella, like this is one of the reasons why I have difficult conversations on Clubhouse. Because I don't think we handle that situation well. And I don't think we do, as Paul Harvey says, we don't search for the rest of the story.
So I think the most disappointing thing for me is just the failure of all of those. Again, I know probably we're going to disagree, but I feel like it's the failure of all of those. Thank you, Monica. I appreciate and I do love that you're able to do that because a lot of people can't do that. I think, and I looked at the video. Yes, I do remember. As soon as I saw his face, I do remember this situation. So ultimately, how I feel about it is it goes back to the parents and what we're talking about, right? If you have a history of a group, the purple shirts, we use the purple and pink shirts, these purple shirted people doing all these horrible things for such a long time to the pink shirts are going to identify, purple shirt people as harm until they know that they're not. And it's up to, that is the legacy. While unfortunately the pink shirts have the legacy that they've had to endure from slavery, so do the purple shirts. And their legacy is that they have to correct it. It's up to the purple shirts. You don't stand in the face of the pink shirts going, come on, like I'm looking at the approach, like I would have never, even at that age, that's not how I would have so naturally even interacted with a bunch of people feeling that way. You know what I mean? What happened, I feel, is the politics, the political identity caused more tribalism. That's a whole nother layer on top of our already pink and purple shirt situation. And now everything is getting crossed and we're forgetting how to just be human. And I'm just so disappointed. I'm very disappointed in the parents because I know that even at that age I would have never reacted that way.
Wait a minute, Bima, I took a long time explaining the situation to you.
And I understood it. And I remember the video.
So let's think about
how I feel.
But do you believe that the Covington High School kids did wrong?
I think that they could have reacted and completely. I mean, just the human decency is the easiest and the best thing that you could possibly do, for your fellow man. If you see that there's a tension, our natural, it's fight or flight, right? And I get that, but there's also this extra element because we've been so blessed to be able to develop this technology, which feeds us with a lot of information really fast. There's like this extra layer of fight or flight. There's also this, hold on, now I have the power to know how to de-escalate and just kind of be a decent human being. And in those cases, I mean, like I'm thinking back to crazy situations when I was, in high school, and I would have never reacted in that capacity at all, right? There's a layer of respect, especially knowing the history that you can give to somebody and a space that you can give to somebody instead of trying to meet them with a weird, because it's basically saying, yeah, we're the purple shirts and what? And the pink shirts are already saying, hey, look, purple shirts, you're questionable. And the purple shirts are like, and what? Without clarifying. There was a full lack of communication, and that's what I'm disappointed in.
Okay, I think you're asking too much of a 15, 16-year-old. I think of the three groups on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, that the Covington High School kids did the best. They were impeccable with their behavior. They took heckling from the Black Hebrew Israelites and made it into a cheer. They accepted the Native Americans with the drum. They were dancing along with it and cheering and doing the chant.
I just hear victimhood, though, Monica. I feel like.
What do you mean?
Like they're victims. think, oh, look, they're saying this. Hold on, no, slow down a second. Try to understand. You know what I mean? I don't know. My kids wouldn't act like that. My kids wouldn't turn some heckling into a chin.
Why not?
Because
you'd rather they heckle back?
Well,
you'd rather they insult them and call them black slurs?
No,
you'd rather they attack them?
No, I would have rather them open up a conversation, knowing
these are teenagers, and the Hebrew Israelites were adults.
You're not. That's fine. That's fine. You're still talking about a dynamic that should have been instilled, and this is what I'm talking about. This is those parents, the kids, these kids that weren't taught inclusiveness. They weren't taught the understanding of the harm and the pain that is still lingering every day. I mean, I was babysitting. I was a nanny in high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not trying to say my experiences, I'm better than anybody else, but I feel like I was like minimal. I raised myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, I raised my siblings, and I didn't even get much. I mean, the one good thing, like I said, that my mom did was instill just love, like just in that small little area, just that little bit of foundation built in my young age.
Let's go back to the scenario. Like, I understand that you said you'd handle it different, and that you're blaming the Covington High School kids for
their parents.
I'm still, but they were civil. They were following social norms.
That's not civil. That's like tribalism.
What do you mean? What's civil?
They drew a line, and then they held their tribal line versus trying to seek, to understand first. You know what I'm saying?
Didn't I tell you that it was a 2-hour video? It was an hour and 45 minutes. That they did listen to the street preachers for a while. They did try to engage them. Meanwhile, the street preachers called them incest babies and future school shooters. Did you not hear that part?
Yeah, I did. And I hate to say this, and I know this is rough, but that is what they need to understand. Our society has bred to this point. We have people that are in such pain today that they're doing this shit. They needed to see that. They needed to witness it, not fight back. They needed to understand and receive it.
Where was the fight
a little
back?
uncomfortable for a little bit? Too bad. Cry me a river. Right?
Where was the fight back? What did the Covington High School kids do to fight back?
Was ceasing to have the conversation and engage in intellectual conversation
It was no intellectual conversation.
Well,
there was heckling and abuse from adults to teenagers.
That's a moment to understand. There's an opportunity to understand.
I think you're asking too much for people. And I think if the roles were reversed, and I think if there was a group of white men heckling black teenagers, you'd be all over the white men. You'd be all over casting them. Shame on them for attacking innocent black teenagers. Shit. Well, you see what child?
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Chud the Builder, harassing other men, daring them to be abusive, and then the men accommodating them, and then he tries to kill them.
Yeah, I don't defend violence. You know that I don't defend
right.
violence at all.
But you still think the Covington High School kids were violent?
I think that their approach, taking off their shirt, chanting.
It was just hold on. The high school cheer is what they do, and when they do the high school cheer, it wasn't directed at the Black Hebrew Israelites. It wasn't directed at the Native Americans. It was them channeling the negative energy they received from those adults and distracting themselves with something positive and good, which was a high school rallying cheer to distract them from the abuse and to unite them with their school cheer. There's nothing against the adults that were behaving so poorly. It was them, right? It wasn't a taunt. a challenge. It was, okay, you're doing this ugly thing. We're going to come over here and do this positive thing.
You don't think I'm with Monica on this one?
I do sort of understand what you're saying, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that situation was like a really incredible example, which is why I know Monica, like, it's like her
watershed moment, like it's like liberty. Yeah.
Is what I was gonna say. I think she probably thinks about it every day. But I don't blame you, because I think it was like this perfect moment in culture where it was like just like this moment where we really learned. I wish we had learned to. Okay, I don't even know what I'm like walking home from the gym.
I'm so glad you weighed in though, Liberty. I'm gonna go on mute for a few minutes. I really want to hear what you have.
Okay. I just think it was like when you actually look at the context of what really happened, everything that Monica's describing, right? Like these boys were just there doing their thing, then these, Black Israelites were disrupting them, and then the Native Americans came in to kind of like try and diffuse the tension, and just like you have one image, one snapshot of the situation of that boy staring down that Native American man, and just all of the conclusions that we like. I feel like people like made paintings of that moment. Like it was like this like cultural moment where people were taking this snapshot of a situation and building a whole narrative of what the United States, the culture of the United States is in this moment, and everything was built upon a complete misunderstanding. And it seems like most of society has no interest in reconciling the fact. I've never seen someone come out and say, you know what, I'm sorry, I jumped to a conclusion, I made a wrong conclusion about what happened, I'm sorry that this boy received so much hate because of things I said or things I spread online, blah, blah. I've never seen that. I'm sure it's happened. I've never seen it. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy that the quantity of impact that moment had, relative to how much understanding we had in the moment of what was actually going on, just blows me away.
I mean, the whole thing was like a storm in a teacup, right? Nothing happened ultimately. It's just a face-off between different groups. And in one way, it's actually a great picture of America, seen from the outside, because ultimately, every person in each of those groups have much more in common with each other than with, say, an Elon Musk or Larry Ellison or any of the powerful. Yet, because they have like different skin colors, they like fall back to tribalism. But ultimately, they're all getting fucked by the system, in different ways. But they're the same sort of like downtrodden people. It's just that because you can make a nice picture of it, right? Like the teenage white kid versus the native man. It makes for a nice story, even though it has no meaning, and it didn't really do anything, besides being that iconography of the divide in America. It's powerful because it stays in the mind, yet it is absolutely void of deeper significance. It's just people facing off in a way that mankind has faced off for like centuries. There hasn't been anyone killed. There hasn't been any big moment out of that. But because it's a nice visual, it's a perfect representation of what's happening in America, which is multiple tribes infighting, and in the meantime, the big guys are making all the money and getting away with it.
Indeed.
And that's what blows my mind about it. It was very well said, by the way, but it's just that, like, what that moment taught us was that the baseline assumption of society that they're going to project on a young white conservative male. I don't even know if we knew he was conservative at the time, actually.
Right.
But the baseline assumption that society is going to project onto a young white male is that he's intolerant, aggressive, bigoted, and it just was so like when you really think about what we actually had to go on, it's so crazy.
This is a trans man
with no information.
with hairy armpits. He goes by the name Sir Liberty. It is a man pretending. Shh.
So I don't know much about this situation, but just from looking over it, do you guys feel like the Native Americans came and like smoothed it out?
No, I think what they wanted. I think they wanted a 13-second video. They fundraised off of it. They wanted the narrative that Nathan Phillips was a veteran, Native American, noble Indian, and you can see the interview he did, where he was near tears. But what you don't see is he wasn't upset when he approached the first team and that team moved away. He wasn't upset when he was banging his drum and he approached the second team. Nick saw him approaching them. He's like, what is this guy doing? And so when he approached Nick, he's like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to stand here and smile uncomfortably. The smirk that was seen around the world. I've never seen such a punchable face. Red head first into the wood chipper, calling for his parents to be fired. The whole school, all the kids that were at that thing, their scholarships to college revoked, their applications to college canceled, death threats, for an awkward smile.
Yeah, because the more and more I watch this, the more I watch the Nick Sandman. That's the Native American guy, right?
Nick Sandman is the teenager. Nathan Phillips was the Native American. He said he was a Vietnam vet, but he served as a cook and never went to war, from what I believe. And he's a social justice warrior. Yeah, it really had a huge impact on me. It's probably why I'm here on the app pushing back against the narrative that all white people are racist, that black people can't be racist, that white people have privilege and should be ashamed of themselves because of historical oppression. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have white guilt. I don't have white rage. I don't have white fragility. And I have tons and tons of privilege, but not because I'm white. I can talk all about my privilege, but then you don't want to hear it because I refuse to accept white privilege. I think it's just a weapon. That's a whole nother thing.
I think it's more just about decency. I hate to, like I.
Wait, it's more about what? I missed that. What?
Just decency, just like being decent human beings.
That's
like,
not good enough. That's not good enough, Bima. It's not good enough to be a decent human being. If you are not,
I don't
if you're
not doing anything and not teaching your kids anything about systemic rape, that's not decent. I don't think that you're decent. I think you're a part of the problem. That's my position. If there was an issue, in the family, like in your home, right? Imagine you had 10 kids, right, and you were the parents, and there was an issue going on with some kids, bullying the other kids, hurting the other kids, right, stealing from the other kids constantly, over and over and over, right? You're not going to sit down at the dinner table and not say anything about it.
Let's keep this analogy. Wait, hold on.
The only decent thing would be to expose it, as you know.
Okay, so let's keep this analogy, right? We have 10 children. Okay? The child number 5 is stealing candy from child number 4. What I would not do is punish child number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 1, 2, 3, or 4 for the actions of child number 5. And that's what I see is going on in our society. That because the sibling was the red hair, child number 5 has red hair, child number 6 and 7 have red hair, I'm not going to punish child number 6 and 7 for the actions of child number 5. And what I get a lot is guilt by proximity. What I'll do is I'll make sure number 5 understands that taking from number 4 is wrong. It's theft. Lincoln told us about that too. He thought slavery was theft. You're stealing the work and the fruits of a man's labor and not paying him for it.
But
I don't know. My analogy holds, Bima, and I need you to recognize one of the biggest biases that you have is about all the redheaded kids. All the purple shirts are guilty because of the action of a couple of purple shirts. And because the rest of the purple shirts said, hey, man, absolutely hold the people accountable for the bad things they're doing. Hold them accountable. But don't tell me I'm guilty, because I'm not.
Well, you have to prove it.
I don't have to prove squat. I'm innocent until proven guilty in the court of law.
Yeah, I think that's just not emotionally mature. I think that's like...
And I think it's incredibly mature.
I think it's a baseline. It's the baseline of what we can expect from just an average thought, right? But that's not a thought that's going to progress and build bridges and heal wounds that are very deep. I mean, that's just not the mentality that's going to do that.
So let me tell you what I don't think is going to work. You don't think that's going to work. I don't think it's going to work that kid number 6 and 7 gets horribly punished for kid number 5's behavior. Not only are they grounded and their Xbox and their phone is taken away because 5 stole from 4, but they're told that they're evil because of what 5 did. And not only they're evil, but they will always be evil, and nothing they can do will ever make them not evil. And because 5 did this shit to 4, that they're going to be punished for the rest of their lives.
Well, I don't
What's
think
going to happen?
Any of that.
What's going to happen? Bullshit. That's what some people believe. And what do you think is going to happen to the psyche of 6 and 7? I'm a monster. I'm evil, even though I didn't do anything. Well, hell, if I'm going to get that badge on my jacket, why don't you see what evil I can really do? And these people are becoming radicalized. These people are becoming callous to inflicting pain on other people.
Yeah,
and I'm 8. I'm looking around. I'm number 8. I'm looking around. And I'm like, man, hold 5 accountable. Leave 6 and 7 alone. They didn't do nothing.
I think that's partly right, but again, it's not going to be the mentality.
100% right.
It's not going to bridge the problem. And if you're going to receive, if kid 5 is going to steal candy, but then share it with kid 4, then and kid 3 and 2, right? Then all of them, all of those kids are going to have to prove that they're not going to be part. They're not promoting what kid number 5 did. And that's just, okay, do they have to? No, they don't have to. But is that going to lead to a cohesive, peaceful coexistence? No, because now you've proven to the other children that you're a threat. And I mean, like, that's what I think. That's what the entire Hebrew Israelite, religion is about. It's about reclaiming identity. And I don't think it has anything. I think it's total trash. I think the whole religion is trash. But it's something that, I mean, on its face is like a religion, right? But I mean, ultimately, what it's doing psychologically for some people is what society hasn't been able to do for them. So they've created something that allows them to bridge easily, right? these gaps, these feelings of hopelessness, humility, all of this stuff. Look it up. It's very interesting. The psychology behind Hebrew Israelitism or Hebrew Israelites, and I think that's part of the repair that has to happen. My ultimate point is if you're not doing something every single day to dismantle systemic racism, while knowing that it still exists, then you're a part of the problem, even if it's just a conversation like this, right? If you're not doing something every day.
Other than conversations, because we all have conversations, what should people be doing?
Well,
sorry. Sorry. Let me just, I want to answer that question. I think that I can hear the passion in Monica. You don't want that passion to turn into fear, anger, to create a whole nother movement. What people could be doing is, yes, we want to hold the other side accountable, but we also want to hold our own people accountable. And I think that's the number one thing at the dinner table. Our racist family members, our racist mom and dad. Go watch the film The Landlord, 1970s. We want to hold our own communities accountable. Black people, hold your own communities accountable, because obviously they're using all the statistics against you to justify something later on that my theory will, I think, will be genocide. That's just my theory. May sound outlandish. White people hold the racist people that you do know that do hold these sentiments, because it's not all of you. It's actually a very small portion of you. Because I've met a lot of great white people in my life that have shown me kindness. I remember driving through Arkansas, and I thought I was going to get the same treatment as I do in the backwoods of Texas. And man, they were so kind. And they were like, "Where did you come from?" I was like, "Oh, I just drove in from Texas." And they're like, "You poor thing." And so it's just holding, just as much that you want to hold other people accountable, the other side accountable, hold your own people accountable, and create that bridge that Beamer's talking about. I always go back to when the Romans came to get Jesus, right? And one of his disciples sliced one of the Roman soldiers' ears, and then Jesus went and healed the man's ear, the Roman soldier's ear. That's what we're talking about here. You have to do something outside of human biology, where it's like, oh, now I'm angry and I want to get them back. You have to do something radically beautiful and right when you feel like you have the moment to pounce, to create that bridge and to create a new trajectory. So I agree with you all.
I think that's very well said, and not to react with anger, but to react with something positive. And that's difficult to do. I think for every human, when you feel attacked, the instinct is to attack back. But you're right, that's not the way that's going to solve it. And I think holding other people accountable, say something if you can. I don't always think just because somebody makes a racist comment, you have to stand up and say something. Sometimes the situation might become more inflamed, but I think there's plenty of opportunity where we probably don't say anything because we figure, well, that's not my problem, it's not my belief, but I think there's probably more that we can do to show people that there's a way we all should be acting as humans, and there's a way that's not okay to act as a human.
Yeah, that's it.
My argument, and we can open it up because Sam Puff, Valentin, and Florida are on the stage. My theory is I treat people like human beings with all the dignity and our respect that human beings have. I treat everybody with positive intent until it's proven to me that they don't have any. And then I choose whether to keep working on them seeing me as a human being or move on. And then I have freedom of association, just like I have Pepe blocked for the last week, and it's been incredibly pleasant. I've not had to deal with his squeaky voice insulting me. It's been nice. And that's freedom of association.
I feel like
and there's one last point, like there's a double standard here. We saw it with college campuses, that they have segregated by race dorms, and however, if there was a dorm that only wanted to be white, that would be discriminatory. That would be racist and bigoted and wrong. But if it's Black Americans who want to have a Black only dorm, then that's acceptable because they get to because of historical marginalization and oppression. That's a double standard. We don't fix racism with more racism. We don't fix discrimination with more discrimination. We call out the discrimination. If a civil right has been violated, we stand with them. They go through due process. They prove their case. They get whatever form of justice that we can manage. It's probably not adequate, but that's what we do.
Yeah, I think that's respectfully. I think that's just a bare minimum, and I don't think that it's psychologically like I said. It's just that's just basic. You should be like that. That should be the norm for everybody. That should just be the norm.
It isn't for the majority.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like that should be the basis. That should be the basis for everybody. That's. I would expect that just from the average human being, right? But for the people that actually want to solve problems and find the solutions, right? You're going to have to do more than that. There has to be more done. And you have to understand that when other people that have been harmed are going to do things to try to heal themselves because they're not feeling that they're being heard or acknowledged, or that they're still feeling like an outsider, they're going to do things like have a Black-only dorm and Black-only schools and support Black-only businesses to raise up the spirit, the intentionality, the everything. Like it's just a factor of encouragement and a healing. I mean, that I remember. I hate to use anecdotes, but I remember when one of my friends, she was graduating from Harvard, and she's Black, and she told me that they were having a Black-only ceremony, and so I couldn't go. And my first visceral reaction was I was pissed, and I was angry, and I was sad, right? And then I had to sit with it, but knowing that she's much smarter than me, and that she supported it, I said, okay, I need to think about this before I have any type of reaction. And then I thought about it. And I put enough thought into to understand, like, yeah, I don't have to feel. This is part of her journey. This is part of what she's doing. I'm fucking. Who the fuck am I? Yeah, I got to be sad a little bit because I don't get to go to a ceremony. But if this is what she wants, then I should support it. Oh, I get excluded? Cry me a fucking river. It's just like I understand. Like, why aren't we understanding first? Like, okay, I fucking get it. There's a lot of shit that goes on still today that happened historically, and we can give them that grace. We can give our family that grace to say, okay, yeah, I understand that there's going to have to be a little bit of therapy, right? And that therapy comes in the form of Hebrew Israelites, comes in the form of Black-only ceremonies, and Black supporting Black business. This is part of the healing. So what do we get to do now as white people? We get to acknowledge it, and we get to respect it, hold a space for it, be a part of it when they want us to be a part of it. Ask what can I do, instead of, oh, well, if you're, just nothing, just baseline. Baseline is boring. Baseline is old school, 21st century. We're trying to repair here.
I don't think it's working.
Allowing the
blacks to have a black-only graduation ceremony repair anything. All it does is allow them to choose their own reality, which they segregate themselves, rather than like acknowledging that they live in a diverse country and attended a diverse school, and that like they ought to have to be forced to live in the entirety of this diverse ecosystem that the rest
Marshall,
of us
hold on. I know you wanted to reply, but wait, hold on. Okay. Oh, he didn't know he was off mute. Go ahead, Florida. Sorry.
Yeah, if Group A is expected to acknowledge that they live in this diverse community and ecosystem with people that don't look like them or come from the same background as them, just because they're the minority, just because Group A is the minority group, why are they the only ones that are required to acknowledge that? Why is Group B, the minority group, allowed to pretend that they're allowed a safe space that's non-diverse? Like if you're expecting Group A to acknowledge and live with the reality of the multiracial ecosystem, Group B should have to acknowledge and exist within that same scope of reality. Otherwise, you don't actually have that reality, and instead you have two conflicting realities or two non-equal realities, where Group A is forced to live a particular way, but Group B, just because they're the minority and have some sort of a historical issue in place, that like therefore they're allowed to pretend or choose their own version of the reality that they live in. That to me is illogical, irrational, and not the essence of what the fuck is supposed to be going on around here.
Well, I would expect.
Hold on, just a second. A point of research. Stephanie says black-only dorms do not exist. They would violate federal civil law rights. You'd think, but you'd be wrong. Link in the chat. Go ahead.
I understand your ultimate reaction. I think that was my reaction, Florida, but that's before you actually really try to understand what it actually what this type of thing does for people psychologically that have gone through these types of things. It offers them. Have you heard of like an affinity space? It's their help. It's psychologically, right? They're able to be recognized. They're able to have an in-group pride, belonging, understanding, knowing that they're going through the same thing, that they've gotten here together, that they've succeeded beyond, it's
same thing.
Hold on. Oh, geez.
Well, why? No, because it's not equal. You're saying that because the blacks all have this, I hate to say it like that, but that's what we're talking about here. Because the black graduates got to deal with all of this oppression and struggle and difficulty, they all have to overcome these obstacles because they are a part of the minority. They get to celebrate that on their own, despite the fact that they didn't do it on their own. They overcame those obstacles, whether they want to acknowledge it or not, with and partly as a result of other people that didn't have to go through the same quote-unquote struggle that they had to go through. Why do they get to sector themselves off and say, oh, we fucking did it, but the whites don't? It's illogical.
Answer? Go ahead, Dolphins. I'll go after you.
I'm sorry. Listen, I be high in Monica's rooms and Marshall, so I be acting a fool. But if you want to go first, babe, you're a moderator. I'm not rude. If you want to go first.
Oh, no. Thank you. I appreciate it. No, you're okay. You're fine. Thank you.
No, I want to get up on him a little bit because I'm going to tell you why it's so different. I feel like when you say as a person, I'm assuming that you are white and or Hispanic white because I never know the difference nowadays. And that's on me. I got to work on that. But the vibe is why do these people get these things when the way that they're positioning things and doing this and doing that, it doesn't relate to that. And I want you to know, as a Black American, it's a fucking accident. It was an accident, and we don't really even know how we got to this point where, yeah, as a Black American, I have to be on one side and be like, no, I don't fuck with this type of fucked up shit. But at the same time, y'all voted for this shit for some devilish reasons, so y'all got to deal with that type of shit. When you say people sequester themselves off, I feel like sometimes y'all think that when we just answer or do things because we have such a high visibility that we're doing something against you, when we're not. And I've got that, like, dealt with that in real life, where I've actually talked to, like, one of my little white homegirls. She was upset. This man was mad at her, and she was just like, do you think he's doing that? What about me and the Mexicans? I'm like, girl, no, it has nothing to do with that. But I feel like because of your emotions, how you feel things, you feel that things are attacked upon you, when in reality, it's just things that are happening. No one's centering Black. Other people are putting in their 2 cents in, and it goes back to Black groups.
Wait, is this a response to what I said?
Yeah, would you like to make it more specific? Because I can definitely.
Well, I would like to clarify, because I'm not coming from a position of emotion whatsoever, and my position isn't even like how you're trying to steelman it. Like you're saying that I'm coming from a position of emotion, and my position is that
I say it
Blacks shouldn't.
Because to be fair, and this is something that that in Black people, Black Americans are less than 10% of the population. So if you feel like Black Americans are doing something to you and controlling you in a certain type of way, it has to be.
No, I'm not saying that.
So what are you saying?
What I'm saying is that it's illogical to acknowledge that we live in a diverse ecosystem of Black people, white people, yellow people, red people, brown people, whatever, and then also like lay these foundational ground rules such that Group A, the majority party, must acknowledge the diversity of the ecosystem and is unallowed, not prohibited, not permitted to create their own singularity group, their own whites only graduation. I'm not saying that Black people shouldn't be allowed to have their own blacks only graduation, so long as whites are also allowed to have their own whites only graduation.
Who has
if Group A can't have it,
they were the institutional default Florida for what? White, that's most American spaces. Well, you're talking about two completely different things. That is the default. For what purpose?
Here's my thing. I feel like that is the thing about American popularity and about American culture. I definitely feel like you was definitely right, because I even had to explain to my one homegirl. I was like, listen, girl, you're talking about us doing this for, like, listen, what was it? The Bad Bunny concert, like, it was the Bad Bunny concert that was big versus, like, Black History Month came very close to each other. And she's just like, what about the Mexicans? I'm like, girl, we don't have to think about that because we do things for other people. Florida, I feel like that's what you're not understanding, is that you're beelining on these things that Black people do versus what everyone else does. You know what I'm saying? For example, even something I explained to her, like Christmas. Christmas is a white holiday, right? It's based around.
No, Christmas is a Christian.
No, it is not.
No.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Explain this one to us, please.
Christmas is a Christian. What is the purpose of Christmas? What is Christmas celebrating, Dollface?
They pagan holiday.
It's a white holiday made by white people. Like,
Jesus was from the Middle East.
Can we cut the shit?
No, yeah, you cut the shit.
Cut the shit. Like, honestly, truly, we know that these are separate holidays based on a certain history, and that's why people have to diversify into them. I feel like your whole basis is coming off of being like, hey, we're not having to change anything or do anything, where our whole basis is made off of how you feel. So when people do things that are changing, of course it's not going to be all about you because you're the basis. And that's what I'm saying. Something as big as Christmas, Thanksgiving is also a white holiday. White people made Thanksgiving about Native Americans. That's
Thanksgiving is an American holiday.
And when y'all think about Americans, you think about white first. And
I'm more lenient. No, I don't. No. I don't at all. I live in a place where Americans are brown, 90% of them. I don't think of white people when I think of America first, and I damn sure don't think of the history of our country. Hold on. I damn sure don't think of the history of our country only being white. The integration of different territories with different peoples are integral parts to the American story, and you can't tell the whole story without them. Correct.
who is American?
If you and me and Jews and Asians and other people who don't look like me.
American?
What? I don't feel like that conflicts with American at all. If what you would like to argue is that at the founding of the country, in particular in the South, nobody else but white people were meant as Americans, totally, I'll agree with you. But we were talking about American history, not just the beginning of colonial and Southern plantation history. Right? Which is a region of the United States, which again, I agree with you, in the Deep South, with the slave owners, they didn't want anybody that wasn't white.
Well,
that's exactly why it was chattel slavery.
No, I got you. But here's the thing, Marshall. When the MAGA Muppet Speaker of the House says American people, he's not referring to me. He's not referring to Dollface. We know who the fuck he's talking about.
When who?
MAGA Muppet.
When Mike Johnson.
Man, they talk about whoever's going to spend money.
Yeah, when Mike Johnson says anything, you have to recognize that he's shitting out of his mouth. He is literally diarrheaing from his mouth whenever he says anything. That's why he needs his own son to make sure that he doesn't look at gay tranny porn.
This motherfucker said, the Democrats are voting against the women's museum. Like we don't already have a women's rights museum. This is the thing for
Mike Johnson is full-flooded America Christian first, but also I have a tendency to look at gay porn, so I need my son to hold me accountable.
But not